the now and here. Gaming tales you need to hear. Laugh and shout and sometimes sneer. Memories from all those years. Console wars and secret tips. Tips and tricks from pixel trips. News that pours from gaming sips. Critical minds and candid lips. And Generation X gaming show. Tune in where the thoughts flow. Rant and rave with words that glow. Weekly stories make them go.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another week, another episode of Generation X Gaming, the weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories of the past week, and we rant along the way. Episode 444. That's a lot of fours, Sarge. We should have done this. We should have lined it up to April 4th, so it would have been 44444 in 2024. You know, whatever. Generation X Gaming, a weekly podcast, goes over a few of the top stories in the past week, and we rant along the way. We're live Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on 30 NSG. Also live over on Twitch, 30 and Still Gaming. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5 over here on YouTube. And if you're over on Twitch, hit that follow button. We're trying to get to 5,000 subscribers over there. We're at 4,894 over there, and we're trying to get to 3,000 subscribers over here on YouTube. And we're I forget where we're at. We're like 2,574, I think we are. So you can also listen to us after the fact over on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Anchor.fm, and anywhere else a podcast is heard. On today's show, Sarge, we're going to be talking about all the events that happened last week. Because last week, then Friday was Summer Game Fest, and then PC Game Show, and Xbox. So we're going to talk about some of the games that came out then, look at some of the ones that look good or not so good. So we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about GameStop. CEO says the company's future isn't in games. We're going to talk about Mind's Eye. Well, because nobody's talking about it, Sarge. No one's talking about Mind's Eye. So we're also going to talk about SAG. They finally came up with a solution for the video games, and the SAG-AFTRA members are instructed to return to work. We're going to talk about, if you guys didn't notice, the episode today is called Make Games Great Again, making fun of the gentleman that was on stage on Summer Game Fest for Splitgate Studios, or Splitgate Games, Splitgate 2. He had a hat on his head, said that make FPS great again. So we'll talk about he's on an apology tour right now. 3 apologies in 4 days. It's fantastic. So we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about Capcom, and people are a little upset about Switch 2 because of physical games. We're also going to talk about Xbox also getting rid of physical games, so we'll talk about that as well. We're going to talk about Dragon Age Veilguard struggles and why it struggled. We'll talk about that as well. And then we're going to talk about a little bit about a marathon, a little bit about Just Cause, and I think, and Grounded, and talk about Grounded 1, Grounded 2, because that's coming out July 29th. And I had a little talk about it earlier, and I want to get your opinion on it as well, Sarge. So, welcome, chat. What does yours say? Gamers. What does it say? I can't see the small print.
Gamers don't die. We respawn.
Or we respawn. Yeah. So let's get to what we've been playing. I got to find it. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Sarge, how you been? Another week, another episode. Before we get to what we've been playing, what'd you do this last week? Anything fun besides gaming?
I'll just be candid. I'll be candid for 2 seconds. I'm very angry, and it's not because I want to rant.
Okay.
It's because I'm a regular guy normally, and I haven't been regular now for 3 days, and it's getting to the point now where I might have to go see a doctor.
Oh, I see what you're saying. A regular guy. I got you.
Okay.
I know what you're talking about.
And so right now, just not happy.
I got you.
So prepare for the record button. If we go down the wrong road, shit's gonna fly.
Clip away. Actual shit or like. So what games you been playing this week, Sarge?
I haven't playing too much though. When I came up to see you guys, and then I got back. The circle currently is competitive play for Dune Spice Wars because you got me involved with the damn Dune game, and I don't want to play
because
that.
I'm playing Dune Awakening. You got the
Yeah,
bug. You're playing Dune Spice Wars.
I'm
Gotcha.
playing Spice Wars. I'm playing that competitively. I Yeah, it's been
That's good, Water. That's
good.
good.
It's a couple RTSs. So it's the Dune Spice Wars. It's the Dawn of War 2 game, and I was playing. I play what's it called? It's a board game that's on Steam. It's Terraforming Mars. You ever play
Okay.
that?
I haven't played it, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I have the board game version. I showed you guys the box that one time, a huge box.
Yeah.
Right. It's like a strategy game, but it's an engine builder. And so I always think the computer's cheating me anyway. When you play on a PC, the computer's cheating. That's just all you can say because you don't know what he's doing. Right? He just does what he does. And so I've been trying to win for 3 months, and I can't win. And finally, I won, and I took a screenshot because I needed proof that I beat the computer.
That you won.
That I actually won the game. Yeah, because it's fucking ridiculous, dude. It's hard. Like a point spread in the game is something like anywhere between like 80 and 120 points, and I finally broke 100. It was like, finally.
Real quick, is Spice Wars still on Game Pass? Is Dune Spice Wars on Xbox still on Game Pass?
No, they took it off Game Pass.
Okay,
it came off, and that's making me want to say something, but I don't want to derail the train.
This whole show's about derailing.
It's not about derailing because there's a flow to it, and if you bust up the flow, you ruin the conversation.
I call audibles all the time, so go ahead.
Yeah, so Kona Vision, right? We're gonna do Kona Vision. Travis, I still want to try it, and I think the best night to try it is gonna. I'll be honest with you, the best night to try it for me is probably gonna be a Sunday night. If you're available on Sunday night, I like to try it. Instead of Wednesday night, because Wednesday night we do the talking and shooting shit with me. So I think the best night to try would be Sunday. Like, are you available Sunday evening? We do that.
So, any other things you've been playing? Nothing else you've been playing?
I mean, nothing new. And
didn't try anything. Did you try any demos from Steam?
I saw the couple that you sent me. I didn't get them yet. I looked. I'm interested.
I haven't tried any demos yet, and I unfortunately I don't think I'm going to get to them.
Is it called Anvil something?
Well, Anvil had a stress test today.
Yeah, Anvil something looks interesting.
That's the same people that sort of like Foxhole.
Yeah, it's Foxhole, but it's
massive,
medieval.
Thousands of players playing on.
Yeah, but you have to work together. So I can only imagine
it's a medieval thing. Yeah,
I can only imagine that's going to be a shit fest because everybody wants to be the leader, nobody wants to follow, and the whole game is you have to be able to work together in order to succeed. So. I will say this. I think when they make a game like that, I think they're trying to test the waters to see if people actually can deal with it because a lot of people are just used to playing a game where you're off in your own little world. And you don't want to deal with people, right? So to come home, crack open a beer, tell your girl you need an hour of
small
peace.
Niche community, but people like doing it.
Right. Tell your girl you need an hour of peace, and you go into your room to load up a game, and you play this with other people screaming at each other, trying to get the things to work. Like I don't find that relaxing.
No,
like,
it's a job.
Find that relaxing. Like getting anyone to work together at all. Right. The game could just be any game. Form a line. Civil War, police riot squad. Right. It could be anything. You're yelling at each other to try to stand in a straight line it doesn't sound fun to me. It looks good, but it's
Breezy. Anvil Empires is the one that says stress testing right now.
The one I was interested in is that crazy dude, the crazy British guy talking about Ahoy.
Well, that's on Kickstarter. That's not a demo. That's not a demo. That's on Kickstarter. Yeah, you actually can play it if you become a backer. I think we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Back in dick.
The only thing I've been playing is Dune Awakening since last week when we played.
What level are you?
I'm 72.
72.
72 or 73.
So we're going to go by the normal rules of engagement here. Usually it's a level an hour after the first couple, right? Brain, you in here? Brain, what level are you?
I don't know what Brain is. Waterbear,
Brain, I saw your name.
What level are you?
I saw your name in there, Brain. What level are you?
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? right? I have 49 hours, just about to break 50 hours into the game in the last week. Okay. I'm watching people on stream. They're lower level than me, but they're already in the deep desert, right? They're like level 35, 52. They're in deep desert. They have the, I can never pronounce it, the orthocopter. I can't pronounce it. It's just my brain just doesn't want to do it. Ornithopter, yeah. Right? They have the ornithopter. They have the buggies. They have all stuff. I have a bike. I have a bike, and just today, I have enough supplies where I can actually make a buggy. Okay, so not you, Brainchild, Brain Eclipse. So I am really, really loving the game. Obviously, I have 50 hours in the game. Okay. I already see the flaws.
Oh,
okay?
Already?
Well, where I'm at the level that I'm at, right?
Uh-huh.
And I'm not even touching a lot of the stuff yet because I'm just doing story. The reason I'm so high on the game, not in real life, right? The reason I'm high in the game is because I'm
methodical.
Methodically going through each of the land masses, grabbing every little thing, killing every single guy, and that's why I'm leveling up pretty fast, right? If you're just going around,
your skills are higher. Your skill points.
Yeah,
are higher.
My skills. I have multiple trees opened up. I have all the all the classes unlocked. First off,
you haven't picked the class. You haven't picked the class yet.
I have 5 classes, and I'm in between all the trees.
Oh, so it is like Galaxies.
Well, you won't have enough to fill it all, right? Because I'm level 1 on multiple things, seeing what I like.
Yeah.
And then I have to go find the trainers again to level up to tier 2.
There's trainers, just like Galaxies.
Tier 2. Yeah, tier 2 and tier 3 type of stuff, right?
Yep.
So I love it, though. I'm loving the single-player aspect. I love the exploration part of it. I love the base building part of it, right? I haven't dove into... I'm at the point now where I'm getting the... Level-wise, I should be endgame. But material-wise, I'm like mid-game. Okay? Mid-game, I'm just now getting aluminum. I'm just now getting certain things where I can build the buggy and the... I can't say it. Ornithopter.
Ornithopter.
Yeah, ornithopter. I don't know what it is. It's like it's here, but it doesn't want to come out. So I'm really loving the game, but I'm starting to see flaws, Sarge, because I travel back to Hagen Basin, to the village, and to the main hubs of the places. Okay, and when I'm going there, I go to the store to see what the auction house is or the economy is. And right now, I could go buy all these supplies. I have over 200,000 Solaris. Is that how we call it? Solaris? Solaras? Solari. I have over 200,000, almost 300,000.
But that's probably not a lot.
No.
How much
for me?
How much is an ornithopter?
110,000.
See, 200,000 not a lot.
Yeah, 110,000. There's also guns that are on the market that you could buy from the NPCs for like $100,000.
Right, but are they good?
Yeah, they're better than anything I have.
Well,
right.
But this is what I'm saying. It was always the method. See, this is the problem why I never liked having multiple characters in the same server, because everybody relies on themselves to make the economy work, because you don't want to deal with somebody else. If you only make one character and you're in one class or you do one thing, then you're contributing to the economy because of what you're doing. And I like it better that way. I don't like multiple characters inside the game. Right. So by that token, the best gun should be made by the people who find the materials and build them, build the blueprints. That's how. So
there's blueprints that you can find that drop randomly at certain dungeons, as you want to call them, or
rare drop
campsites,
like a rare drop.
You can find armor pieces, gun pieces, guns, pieces for your buggy or for your bike, sand bike and stuff. For your ornithopter, look at me.
That's good.
Okay. You could find different things like that in the world. So in the research tab, there's purple ones that you'll get. Okay. And you'll see like a number next to it. And if you find one,
purple sounds rare. Is that rare?
Yeah, but if you get it, you can. That's one plan. So if I find it again, if I happen to go to one of the places and find the same piece again, then it'll say 2 next to it in my inventory, meaning I can make 2 of those. If I die or lose those things, that's it. I can't make it again. I have to go out and find it again.
Okay, so see,
to go make it again.
See, there's my point. There's my point right there. So let's just say there's an engineer type of character. I don't know if there is, right? If there's an engineer character and I find the blueprints and I use the blueprints, then I lose the item that I made the blueprints. Then as an engineer, I should be able to make it again because I already know the blueprints. But if I'm a different character and I'm not an engineer, I find the blueprints. I'm awesome. I found it. I build it. But now that I built it, once I die with it or I lose it, then I don't get to build it again because I'm not capable of doing it. So I have to either find it again or buy it again, right? That's the kind of thing you need for an economy in-game to work. Things need to be able to ebb and flow naturally. You can't have everyone do everything.
Well, that's my major problem with the game right now, right? So I was just going to bring that up. I've noticed that because I'm in every category of skill.
The crying's starting. What? The crying's already starting.
Oh,
water.
I know. I got killed.
Yeah, I told you guys.
Hours to get back to where I was.
I told you.
Hours. I tagged base. I was there. I was so close, but I died. Right. So what I don't like is that this is not an MMO. It's not an MMO. It's not Star Wars Galaxies. It's got the pieces like Star Wars Galaxies, but there's not an economy like Star Wars Galaxies.
There should be.
But there's not, because I can make everything, right? I can make everything as long as I find the resources. I can make everything, right? You have to make the machines, and the machines make all the stuff, and all I need is the resources, okay? Maybe down the road, if someone lives up in the upper basin and doesn't want to travel there, right, to go down south to get certain materials. But the way it works is, if you want the high-end gear, you're going to pick up your base, and you're going to move to the upper part of the map and put your base there, because that's all the materials you're going to use now, okay? And everyone's just going to migrate up to that part of the map, okay?
Yeah,
and then everyone's going to start taking pieces, and then the struggle happens where, let's say someone blocks off where the water source is.
Oh,
okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, which is fine. That's part of the game.
This is the shit I talked about weeks
ago.
I
get that. But the problem is there's no reason to be a skill. Let's say I was a miner, okay, and I was just mining stuff. There's none of that. Anyone can mine.
Sure.
Anyone can
menial tasks,
scavenger.
Menial tasks anyone should be able to do.
Okay, well, the menial tasks get you the stuff to make the things.
Yes, but making the things,
there needs to be incentives. There needs to be incentives of, if I'm setting up a tree, certain things will give me like 25% off or something, right? Because if I can go into all skill trees, then everyone can do everything. So there's really no reason. Why would I go to the market to buy water when I could just go out and get water, right?
Yeah, that's how an economy. Listen, I understand everybody wants DoorDash. Nobody wants to do shit. Everybody wants everything given to them. I get this. But if you want a game like this to succeed and make a community where people actually want to be in the game, you have to have an economy in the game. People have to make stuff.
But that's the problem.
I don't get to make everything. Like that's how it has to work.
That's the problem, because right now, so I don't have it yet. I'm saving up to get the materials for it. But to get water right now, early game, it's a struggle, right? Like, which it should be. Okay.
So moisture evaporator farmer doesn't sound like a bad idea now, huh?
Right. But once you do that, then it's just for you. It's not for anybody else, because you constantly need water to make your stuff. Constantly need water to make your stuff. Yeah. So what the meta is now is to get the death still. The death still is where you take a body, you just kill 2 guys, take the bodies back to your base, throw them in the death still, okay? And it just sucks them dry, okay? And it takes their blood and turns it into water.
Yeah,
right?
But you don't need a death still. They sell the thing that you stick into them, and it blows up like a balloon and pulls the moisture out of their body.
They have death stills.
That's got to be in the game.
Yeah, but they have death stills, where death stills you set up in your bed.
But I'm telling you.
No, I understand that what you're telling me, but I'm telling you what's in the game.
I gotta bring dead bodies back to my base. That's what I gotta do.
Or you can moisture the moisture off the flowers, right? Or there's the thing that you could put outside that just captures the moisture in the air.
Time out. I'm playing the game. I'm not playing the game. Time out. So you're telling me this is something that just came into the game, or this was already there, but people have discovered it?
No, it's in the game. You have to go up a certain level to get there to to then make the death still.
So you're telling me that there's a device that you put into your house that allows you to bring dead
later
bodies
endgame
back?
stuff,
yeah. But it brings you, lets you bring dead bodies. How many dead bodies can you carry?
They're pretty heavy, so maybe like 2 or 3 on your backpack.
Right. So let's go on Google and just type in the stuff that they have from doing. They have a device. They stick it into a guy when he dies.
Well, they had that. They have a gun where you stick it in them,
and it sucks the water out of them.
And you take the
that
blood
in
out of them.
Backpack and go.
No, you take the blood out of them. Okay, there's different ways you can do this. You can moisture the farm, right? Moisture farm. Take the water and store the water. You can kill the guys, steal the blood from them. Bring that blood packs back and then put it into water, right?
Yeah, I got it.
Or you could bring the whole body back, and in 1 hour it gives you 25,000 water. Okay?
25,000?
25,000 water. So this is the meta now. Get a death still, 2 death stills.
Everybody's a coroner.
Take 2 death stills, you put it in your base, kill 2 people, put them in the thing, and you have 50,000 water. You can build whatever you want with 50,000 water.
That's way too much water for.
Well, listen here. Now let's just say I'm doing this. Let's say I'm a death still farmer. I'm just going around just collecting bodies and putting in my thing, and I'm just making moisture and water. Where am I selling it? No one's going to spend money to buy the water when they could just go kill 2 bodies and throw them in a death still.
That's my point. What did I warn you about a game like this? What did I tell you? Very, very complicated to make an MMO work properly. You have to have all the facets of a game inside there. You can make it fun, make it like a story, make it like a Mass Effect game, and put some things in the game that you learn about. But if you want to make a game where it's a community of people running around doing stuff, then you have to have a player economy.
They're going to have to adjust
a player economy,
right? So then I was watching guys that were in the end game with the lands rad, okay, the bingo board, okay. And these guys are in the end game for quite a bit now, right? Again, I'm in mid game. I'm in late mid game right now. Okay, technically I could go to end game, but material wise, I'm not anywhere close. Okay, so guys are stacked, dude. There's people already making videos going, if you make the high end vehicles and you think you're going to go to the deep desert, you're going to get destroyed because there's people who are already with the top stuff and they're just patrolling and they just take anyone out.
People,
right? Yeah. In real life, you might be able to communicate.
To murk you. Yeah. What did I tell you?
You might be able to communicate and say, hey, let's do a trade. We don't need a trade. You know why we don't need a trade? Because we have everything we need on our own. So there's no reason to have you. So I can just murder you, take your stuff, and move on, right?
Yes.
Shoot at first sight. Don't ask questions. Murder people. Take your stuff, right?
That's correct.
Problem number 1. Problem number 2 with the Landrad stuff, the people that are in endgame, they're like, well, it's a little boring because let's say in a grid of 5x5, right? Whatever it is, I think it's 5x5, okay? Let's say I take far left middle, okay? And that's mine, okay? Well, now I have 2 choices, right? Because you have to get 5 in a row, basically, to...
Yes, you're going to go in 2 different directions. That's it.
Right, well, technically you have to get as much as possible, but if you lock in stuff, it's more powerful, right? So if I go 5 across, now my options are either going up or side across, right? So then someone's like, well, we're gonna fend for it. We're gonna get the one above you or whatever. But you're doing the same thing. It's like, all right, get 1,000 ore and turn it into this person, or get this. And so the end game, it's like everyone rush to get to the end game. And the end game is doing the exact same thing you're doing the entire time that you're in the game to begin with.
I warned you.
Right?
I warned
so
you.
I'm watching the end game stuff going, oh boy, they got to fix that. And I'm not going to be anywhere near that because, 1, I didn't buy the game to get to the end game. I bought the game because they said I could play the whole game solo. So I'm loving exploring. I love going around, going to the camps, getting all the stuff, building my small little base, just doing a whole bunch of stuff, right? Quaint little base I have compared to the...
You're basically reliving your memories of Star Wars Galaxies. I get
this. Yes, in Dune. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I get it.
I don't think even... I might be able to put 150 hours in, and I don't even think I'll be get close to endgame. Like, because I don't need to be there because there's nothing there yet to actually go for, right? Because even if I get the stuff and go to the ships to get the high-end level gear, I would rather be rich money-wise and just do what I'm doing and then wait for someone to put it on the actual house to buy and then just buy the gear. I don't need to go through all the headache of stuff like that.
And this is why this game should have came out and been a long play story game like a Mass Effect game, and everything would have been fine. but they wanted to make this type of game, and they don't have all the infrastructure in this game to make it a long-lasting game. I warned you about this, about what this would be.
Yeah.
Right?
So as far as the MMO,
everything they talked about sounded great on paper, very ambitious, sound very cool. Is it practical and does it work inside of a game? And I guarantee you, after the next couple months, the answer will be no.
They're going to have to make a lot of adjustments, and here's the problem with a lot of adjustments. If they implement anything that changes where, let's say, everyone can't do everything again, there's going to be a huge swing of people that are already in the game and they're basically gods, okay, amongst mortals. Or the people that just start and they're like, oh, well, I can't get that. I need to go over here.
Well, here's the good news. Here's the good news. The people who are gods, okay, they'll play the game. They were the first adopters. Usually that group's not that
They'll start
big,
a new server and go do something else.
Usually the group's not that big. They play for as long as they want. They get their power fantasy, and then they get bored and they just leave. So the people that are up behind them who are trying to build an economy from it will start to build the economy. They'll probably pop in every once in a while after they've had a fifth of scotch and come in with their buddies and murk a bunch of people like I told you they were going to do.
Yeah.
First to the top is going to be able to control an area. If the area that you need is something that everybody knows, right, then everyone's just going to hang out there and murk you. That's why the only saving grace that you discussed to me is if the map changes every week and the rare items,
that's cool. Yeah.
And the rare items move a different spot, then everybody's looking for the rare item spot. So that makes it different. So you're not getting murked immediately, right?
Yeah, but with the flying ornithopters, okay, right now it takes me forever to get around and do surveys, right? But if I have one of those, you just fly around and clear the map, and then do the sensor, and you can clear the map super fast, which then also diminishes the people that they said that can do scouts and give the resources to people, right? Like make the coordinates for things, because everyone knows where everything is, right? Once they know where it is, those things on the island stay the same, but the resources change because of the sands come over, right?
Well, that's why the internet breaks games like this.
Yeah.
Back before the internet, you could have a game like this, no problem. But now everybody knows all the information immediately. Even if you were the guy that makes the map and you sell the map to somebody, someone's just going to screen that shit and put it on YouTube for the week. And so no one's going to buy your fucking map. You see what I mean by
Right.
It's the systems in place have to work with the game and allow people to have jobs inside the game for an economy to work. If it's just for shits and giggles, then you should have just made a game like a Mass Effect game. Go through the story, teach me about Dune, that kind of stuff,
and that's what it does. The single player campaign in this and the trials and the way they do it, the quest lines it reminds me of SWTOR, where if you do the Empire or you do those type of side quests and stuff like that.
Love the cutscenes, love the story about it, but the actual practicality of the game is like, okay.
Yeah. One, you can't ever have a group bigger than I think they raised to 60 people now instead of 40. So there's 60 people per server. But it's not an MMO. It's Fallout 76 with more people, right? Where it's everyone playing by themselves. You can group up with people and go on stuff. You can have little smaller guilds. I think it's 30 people in a guild, if I'm not mistaken, 32 people in a guild. But there's only 60 people on the servers. That means, you can have two more people.
Someone's the big door. Someone's the big dog, right? If there's a guild on a server that's 30 and there's only 60 people out on the server, I got news for you. You ain't getting anything done.
Right. You could be 15 and be the biggest group on the server.
You ain't getting anything done. I got to worry about if some of them wants to be a dick and they put a 10 or 15 person crew together, you just roll around like a biker gang, just murking people.
Right. Especially if they're coordinating, if there's 4 in a group, but you have 3 groups of, 4 groups, whatever, running around. You have 16 people running around doing stuff.
Yeah, the only thing I see missing so far is you're not allowed to take over any kind of bases in the world. Like they don't let you take over the bases. Like there's points of contact that you guys are competing against, but it's not like there's actual cities that you can take over that helps your faction. You know what I mean? Like if they did something like that, then that would lead to more interesting types of playability between clans. Like there's Arakeen for the Atreides. And there's Gita. I forget what the other one. It's not Gita's Prime. Gita's Prime is their home planet. It's another city that's on Dune where the Harkonnen live. Right. It'll come to me in a minute. Point being is, the major houses are the big boys, and then you have the smaller houses, but the smaller houses should be able to influence what goes on. So if you don't want to be part of the totally good or totally bad, and you guys band together for a third party, and
Right.
you do like the Ekaz or the Ordos or the Talaxians, Ricci, there's so many other houses that are minor houses that you could play that can influence what's going on. That way you can have like, well, we're going to team up. We see that the Harkonnen are crushing the server, so our group is going to be anti-Harkonnen this whole time and make sure we weed them out a little bit, because
Right.
it becomes the end game becomes an economy game, right? If I hurt you enough, then you can't build shit to harvest more spice, right? That's why it's so devastating to lose something. Where's that clip? Where's that clip?
Oh, you want me to see the
Where's that clip? Yeah.
Birch clip?
Anybody doesn't understand this game or does understand the game, watch this clip. Just
Okay,
watch this
yeah.
clip.
So let me bring this clip up.
Watch this
Okay,
clip.
so this is
I'm
Burt
not-
Black.
Don't say anything. Let them watch
I'm
it.
just introducing who he is. This is
Yeah.
Burt Black. He does a lot of he got big back in the day with Sea of Thieves and stuff like that with his whole crew. They used to wreck people all the time in Sea of Thieves. His group of people plays games like Conan and all these other games, and they just wreck. They get to the end game and stuff. This is them end game. Okay, I watched this live last night after I got off stream. I literally turned it on 2 minutes later. This happened, right? So this is him. His clip. Just to let you know, I think his level is like he's in like the 40s or 50s, but he's end game. A whole group of people brought him in. He's inside the sand of the spice, right? The spice vacuum. Okay, and the worm pops up, and just this took hours and hours to get this shit going. Here we go. Right here. Oh shit! I just ruined it. There you go. Hold on. There it is. I don't know if you can hear the music. Don't worry about it if you can or not. Okay, if you can't hear, don't worry about it. He's just saying that the music's playing. He's like, is it coming towards us? Oh dear Lord, oh dear Lord. He tried to pick him up. Too late. They lose the ornithopter. They lose the spice, right? They lose everything. He had like 20, 30,000 spice on that thing as well. Okay. Completely loses it all. 30 seconds after this, the guy that was in the ornithopter, the guy that was also with them doing the thumpers, everybody goes, I'm done. I'm done. Right?
What did I tell you?
Burt was like, all right, that's end game. He's like, I'll just do the story from now. Like it got sucked out of the air, just got sucked out of the room. Okay, they loved it, and then all of a sudden they were like,
"Oh, you mean
I'm good. I'm good."
You mean like the last 5 hours doesn't mean anything?
Right.
Right. What did I say? What did I tell you? What did I tell you? Right. You want to make a game that's a
you
survival
can't kill the
type
worms,
game.
Jason.
Right. You want to make a game where it's like a survival game. Everyone wants to have fun. It's going to sound so awesome. And then you realize you're a human and I'm spending hours doing something that I could be doing. I could be doing anything else. But for fun, I'm going to harvest resources digitally. And then after 5 hours of working, I'm going to have it flushed down the toilet. And someone's going to say, good job, move on to the next thing.
Well, that happened to me, right? So I was going across the desert with my bike, and I hit quicksand. And I lost my bike, and I lost everything on me. And then I was like, okay. And then it took me about 2.5 to 3 hours to get all the stuff back that I lost. And then I got killed by the worm. And I was like, oh, my God.
That's correct.
Because at least with the quicksand, I could go back out there and grab my stuff. Okay? With the worm, you can't grab shit. Okay? So I had to go back and do it again. So, look, I don't want to scare people off from the game. If you're a Dune fan, the solo player experience in this is really good. What people liked about Hogwarts Legacy, if you're a Harry Potter fan, if you're a Dune fan, there's shit ton of Dune lore and all the stuff that goes on with the right. And they did that really well. The cutscenes are well, the story's well, the quests are good, right? You're exploring all the places. It really makes you feel like you're in Dune. Okay, it does that well. If you're a person that thinks this is an MMO, it's not an MMO. It's a bigger, better version of Conan. It's a bigger, better version of Fallout 76. It's a co-op where you could play with people and do stuff within the world, but they have a long way to go for the end game type of stuff, and they're going to have to make a lot of adjustments as they go, which they know.
I already told you 6 months. I already told you.
Oh, I think it'll last longer than 6 months.
supported 6 months, maybe another year. That's it.
No. It'll last longer than that. Yeah,
Book
I
it.
think it'll last minimum 2 years.
Book it, Dano.
Okay. I say a minimum 2 years because they have DLC planned for this.
Sure.
So just that off alone, it's sold very well. The concurrent player base, it's coming out for Xbox and PlayStation sometime in late 2026. This game's not going anywhere.
We'll see.
They're going to have to make adjustments, and I don't think it's going to be a massive success, but they're definitely going to have to make some changes to the endgame stuff and to the skills and to just everyone can do everything. And if everyone can do everything, it's almost like playing Minecraft.
There's no economy.
Yeah, it's almost like playing Minecraft. There really is no economy in here. It's just like, do I want to pay? Do I want to get the money and then pay to get the stuff, or do I want to earn and get the stuff? That's it.
So when does the third part of the Dune movie come out? Is it next year or this year?
I think it's next year, and this is definitely going to get picked up more because of that.
Right. So maybe. What you guys say Conan lasted years, but what was the player base in Conan? What was the player base?
I mean, the player base, I want to say it's about on par with this as far as like 150,000.
Okay.
Right. Here, I can look it up. Let me see what I don't even think Conan was that good on.
This is why I couldn't do it.
Conan. What was it called? Conan survival game. I forget what the game is called. Exiles. Thank you. Conan Exiles.
Black Desert. Right.
Conan Exiles.
All these games.
Steam charts. Yeah. So all-time peak for Conan Exiles is 53,000 on Steam.
Great. Enjoy.
Been around.
Great.
Been around since 2017.
And I'm sure the 53,000
Dune's got three
people,
times the amount of people right now. It's going to be
new.
It's going to be just fine
because it's new.
Yeah, but even when Conan was new, it's never even come close to what this is on Steam. It's 3 times less, and Conan's been around since 2017.
All I'm saying is a small group of people that is willing to contribute to the actual game. That's what it's going to be. That's fine. It's not going to be some kind of massive game, especially what's going on right now. I can guarantee you what happened to Burke's team is going to happen to a lot of other people. Are like, it's all fun and games. It's going to be great. Oh, I just lost 6 hours and a carry-on.
What's going to happen is if one group is dominant inside the deep desert, no one else is going to come in. They're going to get bored. They're going to leave. That's what's going to happen. They're going to get bored because they can't do anything, and they're going to have to make adjustments to the Lands Rad as a thing.
It's the wrong kind of game. You would have made a story-driven game. You want to do a co-op, you put it with your friend. Interesting, but what it is right now, painful and time crunch wasting. So we'll see.
Yeah, right? I don't think this game's going anywhere.
I like Dune.
But I think you're 100% wrong. I think this game's going to stand around minimum 2 years, if not 5 years.
I mean, if it has this little 53,000 people still playing it for 2 years, then cool.
Well, no, that's 53,000 for Conan. Right now, it's 100. Let me see. Dune Awakening. They hit their all-time peak again. Awakening. Dune Awakening. That's the play test. Awakening.
It's time, man. It's about time. It's
141,000 all-time peak.
Respect.
It's 116,000 people right now, which just came out 2 days ago, right? So
it's respect the players' time. That's all I'm saying.
Well, to be fair, to get to where Burke was, it's going to take a really long time. Again,
that's correct.
I'm 49 hours in, and I'm nowhere near what that is, right? And I still have plenty of single-player stuff to do. So, all right. So that's what we've been playing. Let's go to the top stories. All right, chat. Let me make sure you guys, if you guys are enjoying the show, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. If you're over on Twitch, we do appreciate you over on Twitch. Make sure you hit the follow button over on Twitch on 30 and Still Gaming. We're trying to get to 5,000 subscribers over there, or followers over there. We're trying to get to 3,000 subscribers over on YouTube. We do this show Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern. We're at episode 444. We've been doing this since 2015, so we're not going anywhere anytime soon. So, All right. Last week, Sarge, Summer Game Fest happened the next day. We do this on Thursdays. Summer Game Fest was on Fridays. We watched it. We were live watching it. And let me tell you, it was lackluster. It was one of the worst Summer Game Fests that I've ever seen in the last, I don't know, half a decade, if not.
That's
years.
right. My timetable's all messed up. The last show was before that happened.
Yeah, before that happened.
That weekend.
You were here when it was happening.
Yeah, I was watching and falling asleep. Yeah, I remember that. Kinda.
Yeah, Sarge actually was literally falling asleep. Right. So, was there any major games that came out in Summer Game Fest that you were like, oh yeah, I'm looking forward to that?
Well, I looked at things practically, and I know the cycle of games and what it takes for a game to be released. So I wasn't really looking for anything. I look for stuff that's new. Like somebody who's willing to try something new. And what we saw was 9 games that all resembled Elden Ring. Right? That's what I saw.
There was a lot of boss fight,
that's what I saw.
games.
9 games look like Elden Ring. And so after seeing that 9 times, I was like, okay, well, I guess that's where they think the money is. So enjoy yourself. But who had the interesting things? That's the ones I looked at. The ones that were kind of like off, that they were actually trying something different. Right? There's a couple in there that I would probably play, but
what's going on, Cabbage? Good to see you, man.
Nothing that jumped off the screen, right?
Well, a lot of people were upset because I don't know the whole story, right? There was a countdown happening that they found hidden about Arc Raiders, right? And everyone thought Arc Raiders was going to drop on Summer Game Fest. They're like, oh my God, it's a countdown. And then it was a countdown to a countdown, which they made the announcement October 29th is when Arc Raiders comes out. So they have the Arc Raiders, released on October 30th. My bad. Okay, but there was a hidden message, right? So then there's also James Bond. They showed the new James Bond game. Sarge, what did you think about that? Did you think were you a little bit of excitement for James Bond, or not really?
If it's done well, like the Indiana Jones game, I would say yes. But if all it is a Hitman game with a James Bond skin, then no. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I know what you mean.
Like, if you're going to make a James Bond game, like, let's put it this way. In the old days, they used to slap a title on a game and call it a movie or something, and it would just be some run-of-the-mill stupid shit with just the title of the movie on the game, right? Nowadays, if you're going to use the James Bond IP, then you better damn well have a plan on what kind of game you actually want to make, right? Like, it has to be an action game. It has to be an intrigue game. It has to be a spy game. Like, you have to be put in a story. It has to be a story plot game. And so, like, if it's done well, it could easily have a 3-game series. Easily. But if it's just you're slapping a James Bond name on a game trying to sell another generic type of thing because it's James Bond and your guys are just trying to capitalize on that, then no. It won't even make a dent. And
there's
the engines that they have today, they could definitely do a storytelling action game. Like I would say maybe like an Uncharted.
Yeah, Uncharted or even Indiana Jones, I think was pretty good.
If you make a James Bond game like Uncharted, then you'd be all right. You can make a 3-game series out of that, and have a continuing story, like, and follow, and as a joke, kind of follow the template of a James Bond movie, like the sequences. You have the beginning of the game, then the intro with the credits roll, and then you're in some kind of place. They give you a little what city you're in the world. That's always what it is. You're jet setting around the world, right? Then you have to go get your equipment. And then you have to go after the bad guy. You have to find out who the bad guy is. You got to do the choices of text, right, to see if you can pass the speech checks. Like, I think that would be interesting. I would do it, but you better do it right. You better do it right.
Do you remember this one, Sarge? This is River City Ransom, but it was Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah. River City Ransom.
100% River City Ransom.
All day long, River City Ransom.
Yeah. Which I loved, by the way. That game was ahead of its time when it came out back in the day, right? I mean, you literally had storefronts, and you would go in the storefronts and like buy certain items to get you energy and boosts and buffs and stuff like that. Like that is way ahead of its time.
But there was a part there like halfway through the game where we kept forgetting where to go to continue the game. Like we were stuck in an area we couldn't progress anymore because we couldn't figure out what was a door and what was a walkway to get
like
to
a
the
basketball
next area.
court or something you had to go through. You couldn't figure it out.
I couldn't figure out how to get past
what
it.
alleyway you had to go through or whatnot. Yeah,
like it wasn't just going left to right. You had to find a way to go through the up and downs of the screen in order to continue the game.
Well, then there was the Future Game Show, which I didn't watch at all. This game right here, The Expanse, everyone is like super excited about this, and
yeah, because it's Mass Effect. That's why.
Well, right, it's Mass Effect meets Division.
Yeah,
right. That's what it was, and it actually looked pretty good. But I'm not going to get excited yet because I want to see more of it. The small gameplay, the trailer looked amazing.
Yeah,
right.
Well, this is what happens when you wait too long for
gameplay is
Mass
what I
Effect
wanted
game.
to see.
Yeah, but this is what happens when you wait too long for Mass Effect. Somebody else beats you to the punch.
Well, there's another one called the Exodus, which is also another game that looks like Mass Effect, right? So that was a big one. Echoes of the End. I don't really remember this one. Let me see if I can. We're gonna do no volume. I just want to see. A lot of these people didn't show any kind of trailers. You know what I mean? A lot of these things also look very samey when it comes to when they show stuff. Very, very heavy fantasy driven for a lot of these things. Looks good. I'm sure they probably use the Unreal Engine. All right, so there's that. Then we have
I'm a bad
Whispers
person.
of the Fog. Lots of horror games.
Lots of
Lots of horror games. Lots of cozy games. And lots of Souls-like games in the whole thing.
Yep.
The finals had their thing. I don't know what this one was. This is hurtling, whatever this is. I didn't see any of the Future Game Show, so you just have to get the herd from one side to the other. It's like a puzzle game. Is that what this is? This seems like a puzzle game.
It looks like a puzzle.
Yeah, this looks like a puzzle. Like get your herd from one side to the other, tell a story. Sleep Awake. What else do we got here? The Explorer. Another cozy little game there. Titan Quest. What's Titan Quest?
It's been a while. I'm trying to remember what that one was.
Oh, okay. It's a. Is this like a Diablo style? Yep. Action ARPG. Oh, I remember this one. Yes. This is the one that was Rome themed, where it was a little bit different. We actually talked about this a couple months ago. Yes, I remember this one. So there's that.
It's like a Diablo.
Yeah, that's what it says. Diablo action RPG. Let's see what else they have here. I think this is another one.
The vampire one looked interesting.
Dawnwalker.
Yeah, that looked interesting. Like I always appreciated like my favorite vampire game from back in the day was The Legacy of Kain. I thought that was a really great series. But then there wasn't the Masquerade one was okay, but this one looked interesting. Like it actually had some meat on the bone.
This is a firefighter game, Sarge.
I mean,
fight simulator, 4-player co-op.
I mean, if it teaches you to be a fireman, I don't see why you wouldn't want to play it. I think it's kind of cool. Like I like
being fun for a weekend.
Yeah, but it's not meant to long play forever. It's meant for like shits and giggles with your boys. Like that's what it's supposed to be. But like if they're teaching you, if they act like, let's put it this way. If the guys who made the game are actually teaching you the real lessons of how firemen are trained, then basically what the game becomes is a firefighter trainer. And so people who are interested in becoming a firefighter might actually go and be a firefighter.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same thing with the cop game. Same exact thing. Like if you made a cop simulator where you actually did the day-to-day routines of what a cop actually has to do, and you make it story-driven and put some money behind it and make it interesting, that's what it becomes. It becomes a policeman trainer.
Eve Frontiers, Eve Online, basically another one. It's another MMO, sandbox MMO. We got Formula Legends. It's a car racing game.
I love that still frame. Is like an old Atari 2600 thing.
Oh, I I didn't know about this. I wonder. I like stuff like this, like the little
looks
one,
like RC Pro-Am.
Circuit Circuit
Didn't
City.
Didn't you play that one already?
Yeah, this is almost like that.
They look like little mini cars.
Yeah, I like stuff like this. I might pick this up. Is there a first person mode like this?
But didn't you already play a version like this? What was the other game you played that was like that?
I have one like this. It's Circuit City Superstars.
So isn't it the same thing?
I don't know. I think this is just Formula One. Circuit City Superstars has got a bunch of different race cars. Well, I guess this one has the same. Interesting. It's a little different. The other one's like top down. This one's over the back. All right, I'll keep an eye on that one. Formula Legends. Okay.
I mean, they're coming out with a game like that because the Formula One movie's coming out, bro. You know how that's gonna work.
Here's Ahoy. Okay.
Ahoy.
I actually want to get your opinion on this, right? Ahoy's a Kickstarter right now, okay?
Yep.
And this game is very, very ambitious. Very ambitious. They're starting off where it's just learn how to sail. And then they're adding an arena mode where it's 3v3, like 3 ships. So I think it's like 12 people, 4 on each ship, and then you can all fight against each other, okay? And then their big ambition, and they've already been funded, by the way. They've passed their goals of Kickstarter by like double. Their big ambition is to make this a open world MMO type of game. Okay. For a small studio with people on their spare time in the mornings, as their own trailer says, okay, to make this game. Very ambitious. I hope they do something, because I'll tell you what, this looks 1,000 times better than Skull and Bones that was in development for like 12 years.
I'm a history guy. I was a history major. I love the time
Don't insult this game, Dupless, and call it Skull and Bones. They actually cared about this. This is not an obligation.
I love the time period because I'm a history person. I appreciate the detail to the ships. If they're going to give a comprehensive detail of ships of the line for that time period, and you be able to like go through the ranks and try to get your own ship, that type of thing. If it's a story-driven game, it's definitely ambitious. It's interesting, but I look at it as a more, like almost like a more complicated version of like Sid Meier's Pirates.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
You pick a side. Like this one, it looks like you're going to be English. It doesn't look like you get to pick like your.
No, there's a whole bunch of other ones as well.
You get to pick like different ships is one thing,
and
but I'm saying,
they said all the different regions and ships will be free, right? So,
well, that's already an issue.
They're going to charge you for cosmetics and also make your ship look different and stuff like that.
I'm
right?
sure. Small, definitely. This is a very small population. There's a lot of old guys who love this kind of shit, and I'm probably like the tail end of them. I'm not that old yet, but it's what it is. I would be interested in seeing the finished product. I'm not going to be following this around like a little dog with a biscuit. I will wait till it's officially out, and I'll take a look at it. I'm interested.
It officially comes out in like late 2026, quarter 4 2026.
Then I'll see you then, because the way that they talk about this game is they have a lot of passion and little money, is what it sounds like.
Right. Well, they funded their game with 1,800 people. Right. They funded their budget, their starting thing at with 1,800 people so far. My thing is, these are look, when I say make a game, sell a game, these guys are in the process of making a game. This is not a full-time crew. This is part-timers in their spare time with their other jobs making a game like this. I know people in chat are like, we haven't seen anything. In the diary stuff, they kind of showed some gameplay of it. And obviously these are in-game, what they showed in the trailers, in-game, filmed within in-game. They have more passion than I've ever seen in any other company that's a AAA studio that's doing stuff, right? So, again, these are people in their part-time, okay, in the mornings and whatever else, doing this in their spare time to make this game. It would be cool, if they become full-time, they become an actual studio and stuff like that. I'm not going to get super excited, but I do appreciate the passion of these people. Like, I don't think they are looking to make big bucks. And what I mean by that is, I think they're just passionate about they love sailing. They love this period of time, right? And I'm going to put myself in this type of situation where I love just doing YouTube, right? I've been doing it for so long. And say I'm successful or not successful, I'm doing it because I'm passionate about it and I love doing it. And my past was in film and television, and I'm making television basically, right? And I love doing it. These guys saw something or like, yeah, Sea of Thieves is not it. Skull and Bones is not it. Maybe they saw Black Flag and was like, we want something like that. And they're like, we like this period stuff, and they're doing it. And I don't think they want tens and 20 million people playing the game. They just want to make their passion project, which is this. And I think they're doing a fantastic job for what we've seen so far. Right? They're still far off. And they're telling you it's not complete, right?
Well, that's fine. But I'm just saying that you focus on something that you're passionate about, but you know that the population that's going to purchase that type of game is not going to be that big. So if you're just looking to see if you can put a bunch of guys together to create a game that you all both are behind and you actually make a game, then I'm all for that. I root for them, right? Because it's them trying to make a game from scratch, and it's not an easy task. But as far as putting your blood, sweat, and tears into it and seeing if you get a payday at the end of it is something completely different, because the way the market is today.
Right. This looks interesting. I don't know what this is. Just a little still. This looks like a PS2 game. What is this? I'd rather buy... It's a first-person game going up against killed by indestructible robots. What is this? This is an open-world game? What is this?
Oh, there's fishing, so half of you are happy.
Yeah, okay. So this is just penis sliders.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Penis size, and the max was 5 inches. What is this, Chinese? Is a Chinese game? Is this a game straight out of China, bro?
Game's trash. Don't buy it.
Go back. Rewind.
Oh, it's
rewind.
scum. It's scum.
Rewind it back to the penis scale. Right there. Let it go. Hang on. I want to make sure I didn't miss look at it. I'm looking. Hair color.
Oh,
dexterity.
It's skipped. Hold on. Sorry.
Yeah.
There it is. Penis
size. Okay.
5 inches.
5 inches. What the
max.
Fuck are you talking about, bro?
Yeah, 5 inches max.
I don't know. What kind of big dick game do you want to have that you don't give me a big dick? Right? This is supposed to be a big dick game, right? But you don't give me a big dick. How does that work?
Yeah, they definitely can't see their... All right. So there's a lot of games in the future game show here. Too many to come across, right? Then I'm not going to go through. I'm just going to show this. This is the Xbox Game Showcase, right? A lot of Summer Game Fest didn't show a lot of gameplay. They showed a lot of trailers. Okay, Xbox, I have to say, I watched it Monday, live on stream, and it was, I don't want to say banger after banger, but the way they did their show was a banger, because they had 3 times they talked. Sarah Bond talked once, Matt Booty spoke once, and Phil Spencer ended it off. But other than that, it was just gameplay after gameplay after trailer after trailer. If you like the games or not, it's another thing. But their show, the way they did their show compared to what the Future Game Show did, or what the PC Game Show did, or what Summer Game Fest did, I would say PC Game Show came in second. Summer Game Fest was dead last. PlayStation, it's not even in the running.
But that's not always about. It's not Achilles' fault. There's no games out, man. There's nothing that's interesting.
Well,
I
just feel like they're going to show games, man. Show games. Don't show the trailers. Show gameplay. I don't care about you talking for 45 minutes.
They are stretching out the time, bro. That's why they use the trailers. They're stretching out the time like a movie trailer thing. That's what they're doing, right? Gameplay is what you want to see, right? That's what you want to see. I'm looking at this list here, right? What do you have time for to try? What do you have time for? I see maybe 5 on there. 5.
Outer Worlds 2, I'll give it a shot, right? I'll give it a try.
I see 5 on there.
I might put a full thing in there. Grounded 2, I'll give it a shot, 100%. I like Grounded 1. We'll talk about that in a second. Indiana Jones, The Great Circle's Order of the Giants, I'm definitely playing that. That is the guaranteed I'm playing that, because I loved the first one I played, and this is the DLC to that, so that's a pickup for me. That's 100%. High on Life 2, I'll give it a shot. Clockwork Revolution, when it comes out, whenever that is, if it's 2026 sometime, I'll definitely give it a shot. Nothing here, like, for me personally, and this is not shitting on them, okay? Obviously, I don't have to pay for any of the games. These are all games, right? Xbox Game Showcase. I don't think all of these are coming to Game Pass, but a lot of these are coming to Game Pass day one, right? There's like 12 games of this that are day and date, okay? So if I had to purchase, one, I would never purchase full price for any of these. If they were $80. Grounded 2 is like $30. I would pick that up because I know Grounded 1 was good. I enjoyed Grounded 1. I think Grounded 2 would be a pickup. Invincible Verse, that looked cool. It's another fighting game, like a tag game, like Marvel vs. Capcom, like the new Marvel game coming out. That looked cool. Other stuff that I already own, Sea of Thieves, I'll go back and play. Fallout 76, I'll go back and play. Maybe the Blood of the Dawnwalker, that looked interesting, but that's not a full price game for me. What about you, Sarge?
Top row, Outer Worlds 2. Second row, the Vampire game. Third row, Elder Scrolls. Fourth row, Final Fantasy 16. And I don't think I got one for the last row, so I think I'll go back and I'll pick the Clockwork game. Like 5 games total. Like I don't.
The Clockwork game looked very good. No, we said it, Def Ego. The Clockwork Revolution, I would definitely pick up.
It kind of reminds me of a more detailed version of like BioShock.
Yeah, it looked like it was definitely inspired. It felt like it was inspired by BioShock. I thought it was BioShock, like the developers, but it's not. My chat told me the other day it's not the guys that did it.
You have to remember
High on Life 2. High on Life 2. High on Life 1. Did you play High on Life at all?
No, I watched
the guns that talk to you and stuff.
I watched you play it.
It was a fun game. It was very funny, right? It was a good time. It was a good time playing High on Life.
Let's put it this way: the guys who made it decided that if we were going to make a first-person shooter and you had to stare at your gun the whole time anyway, then they turned the gun into a character. So I give them 1,000% pat on the back for being inventive and creative in a first-person game, right? Because that's what it is. Someone's idea was we're staring at a gun the whole game anyway. Let's make a gun a character. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, it was very good. And the voice acting in that is very good for those things.
Well,
right?
You would need that. You would need someone with voice acting because you have to give so many guns characters, right? I thought it was done very well.
There was a lot of games. Again, there was a big focus of that late half of the year now for a lot of games because Grand Theft Auto is now missing, right? So, all right.
I mean, there's still a lot of there's too many games up in the air, right? I don't run on rumor anymore. I don't run on what might come out. I run on a game that's out. I haven't been paying attention. Someone starts talking about it. Then I look it up and like, oh, that looks cool. Then I look at the game and then I say, oh, this might be something I would actually play. Like that's where I'm at, right? If you think I'm like the little high school girl waiting by the phone for my boyfriend to call because I'm waiting for a game to come out, you're out of your mind. Like I don't give a shit, right? Half the stuff that comes out is broke. So it don't matter to me if I missed opening week. It doesn't mean anything to me anymore, right? I want a quality game. I'll wait. No problem. Hey, it's on Game Pass. I happen to roll out of bed and catch it. Cool. I don't have to do nothing. I can just play it on Game Pass. Even better.
Then they showed this, Sarge. This was the biggest thing I think at Xbox they showed. Let me bring this back up on the screen.
If
you're not going to hear the volume. I'm just going to play it in the background.
You're not doing Call of Duty.
Okay. So they're bringing in the ROG Ally, which I just want to say we knew about this after the fact. Before we even knew about this, though, last year, I said ahead of time, people were like, oh, they're going to make a handheld. I said, I don't think Xbox is going to make a handheld. I don't think they're going to make a handheld. I said they would team up with someone and make a handheld. And shortly after, boom, we heard rumors and stuff, and now we actually see it after about a year or 8 months or so, and they're making the actual handheld, okay, ROG Ally, and they're making 2 different versions of this, right? They're making a white version, which I think is the cheaper one, and then they're making the high-end one, which is black, and it's going to have more storage, more processing, I think, a little bit, and it's called the Raleigh X, okay? And I think the pricing of this is going to fall between the Series S and the Series X. And what I mean by that, the Series S for Xbox is going to, what is it? Like I think it's like 500 now. I forget what it went up to. Because Xbox was 500 for the Series X and what 350 for the Series S, if I'm not mistaken, and now it's 500, 700, if that's the way it is. So I think what's going to happen is this is going to fall. The white version is going to be the S, then the white ROG Ally, then the Xbox Series X, and then the Xbox Series ROG Ally X is a top tier one, which I think is going to be around $800 to $900. Okay, I think the lower one is going to be at 550, 500 to 550, which I still think that's about $100 too much.
I still haven't gotten all the details about this, and if they're saying that Xbox is making their own handheld, I don't. Why?
Well, we'll get to that in a second. Yeah.
Why would Microsoft be making their own handheld if they have this?
It doesn't make sense because if ROG's out there, Steam Deck's out there, Nintendo's out there, let's say PlayStation throws their hat in the ring. So you wanted to stop making consoles because everything's an Xbox. Right. And no one's buying your console, so you're third place in the console market. So now you're going to make a handheld to be what, third place?
Third place
in the handheld market?
Handheld? I don't get it.
So just team up with someone, put it on there, and just make the money off of the handhelds that are sold everywhere.
I don't get it. And they keep spouting that it's your entire library. But my entire library currently.
Yeah, well, they have
the games I have, not the games I have sitting on my shelf.
Yeah, well, they have to reword that. When they say your whole library, is that my whole library from Xbox 360, Xbox One plus the thing? No, they mean everything that's on your Xbox currently today.
Currently, the ones that are
currently
online.
Today can be played, right? Which they should say that is what it is. But there's also people on the Xbox One that haven't upgraded that their libraries on Xbox One. Is that whole library on Xbox, on this as well?
I mean, or do I just get the game because I already own the game and you allow me to download it to my system? Because
if you own the digital, that's fine. But if you own the physical, how would you prove it?
Well, this is why I don't get excited about stuff like this. Let me ask you a question: if a controller that I play with and I almost play it almost every day, right, lasts about a year, what's this going to last me? What's the control? What's the stick drift going to be like in a year on this? I'm paying $900
right now.
I'm paying $900.
Switch has already been reported that the stick drift is already happening in the Nintendo Switch 2.
Right? How? The game just came out. It just came out.
It's been a week.
How could you have a stick drift on a Switch 2? It just came out.
Right.
If I'm paying if I'm paying for $1,000 for this thing or close to it, I said that those controllers better be the fucking top end, bro. Top end. See, that's what I'm saying. Listen, man. I know I nitpick on certain things, but you want me? I'm fine playing Xbox fucking anywhere, bro. I have a phone and a tablet. Like, I'm gonna buy a fucking $900 handheld system for the controllers to fuck up in less than a year? Like, what are we talking about? For what convenience am I looking at? What do you?
Well,
I have a thumb drive I plug in the back of a TV. I can play Xbox. I got my phone. I can play Xbox games on. I can recall the stuff.
Well,
what are you trying to sell me?
This will be actually, I think, a good seller if the price point's right, because you have your whole Steam library you can play on here. You can get your Epic library on here.
On my tablet.
Your Battle.net library on here. You can get your Xbox library on here. So there's a lot of stuff that you can play. And then Dustin Legary said that he actually tried it, and you could play Spider-Man on the actual thing, because everyone kept saying that they're going to stop it. There's no way you can play a PlayStation game on. It's like Xbox didn't make the console. They teamed up with ROG Ally, who made the console, and ROG Ally is allowed to run these things on there, right? And if it's on Steam, it's going to be able to run on there. If an Xbox is on there, then it's going to be able to run on there. So this is a very good, convenient one device that gets 4 or 5 different launchers on there in one device.
Great. What's the convenience? I have the ability to play my games anywhere. What's my convenience?
Well, you can't play Steam anywhere right now.
Not if you have a ROG Ally, you can.
Correct. But what I'm saying is you can have one device that does all of these things.
And I'm going to spend $900 on a controller with a screen attached to it.
But look, if they
have the money, I already told you, if you have money burning a hole in your pocket, there's no doubt in my mind you will pick this up because of the cool factor. But as a normie looking for convenience for video games, because apparently I'm some type of addict who doesn't know how to spend money, right? That I'm going to go out and buy a $900 handheld system when I can already play those games elsewhere. I don't understand what's my selling point. What's my convenience factor? I'm still waiting.
The convenience factor is, if you're a person, look, if the ROG Ally, the lower version, comes out at 450, this thing's flying off the shelves. Okay, 500, it still might fly off the shelves just because 3.5 million people bought a Switch 2, and that's a generation behind. You're actually playing the actual current day gen games on this thing. So if they had the lower tier one at 450, 500, it'll sell better. Okay, a lot better. A lot more people will be like, oh, that's interesting. Now I don't know the logistics of this. Is there a dock? Chat? Have you heard something? Is there a dock where I can plug this in and I can sit on my couch while that's the system, and I can play on my television set, and I can disconnect it and take it with me? Like, is there a way to do that with this thing? I don't know. I haven't looked that much into it. I think it's smart for Xbox to do this with somebody. I don't think it's smart of them to actually make one, okay, and make one themselves. It just doesn't make sense to me, okay? I have a story. I thought I had a story. Yeah, right here. Okay. So this one, continuing while we're talking about the handheld here, Sarge, it says first-party Xbox handheld essentially canceled its claim. Now, this is not the ROG Ally. This is
something else.
This is their own dedicated handheld that there was going to be the next generation.
That was it. I thought the ROG Ally Xbox thing was that was it.
No, this is their own.
You're telling me they're going to come out with another one.
This is when they first started talking about this. I said it's stupid for them to come out with their own. I don't know what this says yet. Let's read. Okay, it says Microsoft seems content with not putting out its own Xbox handheld console, according to a new report. Microsoft has essentially canceled its first-party Xbox handheld. Okay, at the end of May, it was reported that Microsoft decided to sideline the development of its in-house handheld system. Now, just a couple of weeks later, Verge's Tom Warren is reporting that the Xbox handheld doesn't appear to be happening at all, which would make sense.
But why would you make it?
Let me continue. He says, I've heard some insiders essentially canceled as a company focused on Xbox new software platform. Warren writes, quote, I still think to see the next-gen Xbox hardware from Microsoft, but I also strongly believe we'll see a multiple devices from PC Maker in the Asus that will also consider the next-gen Xbox consoles. Speaking of Asus, the company has recently revealed that Asus ROG Xbox Ally and Xbox Ally X handheld consoles as part of the Xbox Game Showcase in June of 8th. The new handheld is built with Asus framework but features Xbox branding in the form of controllers and operating system. The operating system, while still Windows, is lighter version of the software and make it easier to pick up and play gamers for users. So I said this before all of this is being reported and then making a thing. It was just all rumored. Over a year ago, I said it would be stupid for them to make their own first-party handheld because you went from third place in consoles, and you're like, okay, great, we're going to make a handheld, and you don't know if it's going to sell. You're not selling consoles right now. Why would all of a sudden you sell handhelds? I said it would be stupid for them to make their own. It'd be better if they teamed up with somebody, which they have. ROG Ally is coming out. See how this works first, and if this sells well, then maybe down the line you do it. But I still think it's stupid for them to go, Game Pass is everywhere. Everything's an Xbox, and yet make a console that... Why?
I'm completely lost at this moment. Why would they make their own handheld when they have one that just came out that we're discussing right now that we don't really need? Then you're going to make another hand. How do you spend the last 4 years convincing us everything's an Xbox, and now you're trying to sell me something you didn't want me to have?
Trying to sell me an Xbox
that you didn't want me to have.
Right. So I think it's silly. I don't understand. This is smart.
Is anybody else having? I'm getting a headache, like an instantaneous headache. How do you tell me not to buy anything because everything's an Xbox, and then proceed to tell me I need a handheld Xbox, even though I own 3 items in my house I could play Xbox on? Explain this to me, somebody, please. I don't understand what's happening right now. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
No way Aku says yes, there is a docking station. He has a photo of some that you can put for the device. So there you go. So there's a docking station you can hook up the ROG Ally to, and it could become your system. That's a seller, right? If I can hook that up to my television and then take it on the go like a Switch. So then
the only reason why they're doing this is because they're trying to get a piece of Nintendo's market. That's what they're trying to do.
Well, I think. Look, Microsoft became a $1 trillion company not because they made a bunch of stuff. It's because they didn't make stuff. All the stuff they've ever created, the Zune, the Windows Phone, all of it's garbage. Every single thing they've ever created of hardware-wise has never sold very well. Xbox is probably the biggest seller they've ever sold for anything with the Xbox 360, which sold like 86 million copies. Okay, it doesn't make sense to repurpose what your brand is and say that everything's an Xbox, your phone, the tablet, the television, the thing, anywhere you want, you can play the games wherever you want, and then come out and go, we're making a handheld device. It's like, and remember what I said? I said, if they make a handheld device, that is the lowest common denominator now because the S was holding stuff back. But if you make a handheld, your own handheld, it needs to run the handheld and then parity with the other things. But if you don't make the actual handheld, okay, then you don't have to worry about parity. You just make the parity work for the S and X or whatever if they still keep that, and it'll work everywhere else because it's on the cloud. It's on Game Pass, right? It's play anywhere type of thing.
I don't see how you're going to play games on your handheld that are not games being streamed from their servers. I don't see how that works.
You don't see how it works.
I don't see how the fidelity of the game is going to be top end on my handheld.
Right now, you can play
unless it's streaming from somewhere else.
You can play what is it? The NVIDIA, is it NVIDIA GeForce Now? It's super clear. You can play on a super high end computer, pay your monthly fee, and play it on someone else's computer on your shitty computer right now. Been like that for the last 5 years.
I just don't see the draw. I don't see why I would need it. I have a PC, I have an Xbox, I've got multiple devices that can play Xbox games on. I mean, I don't see why I would need this. And then on top of that, you telling me they might release an Xbox handheld. There's no way they're releasing an Xbox handheld.
I don't think they're going to do that. It's stupid to do that.
But way.
I think here's what I think, right? If they can start conditioning people and go, you start eating, you start drinking the Kool-Aid of, I don't need a console. I can play Xbox anywhere, Game Pass anywhere. I don't need to consolidate. People are like, why would I want to buy a PC, a PlayStation, an Xbox when I can get this one device? Okay. And again, I don't know the price, but even if they charge $900, this one device is now a PC. This one device is now an Xbox. This one device is now playing Epic, Steam, on the go, Battle.net, Xbox games, and you could probably emulate other things. I won't say the company because we might get sued, but you could probably do all of these things on one device. And now if you're a customer, you don't have to spend, $1,500 getting this and this and this and this and this. You can just get one device, hook it up to your television, and experience multiple things than you did before.
So what you're describing to me is you're trying to sell the normies a device that lets them play both console and PC games.
Convenience. That's it.
They don't have to buy a PC or a console. This is
correct.
Everything.
As Salty says, it's a shitty PC. It's
right. You're trying to sell to the normies. You're not trying to sell to me. You're trying to sell to the normies.
You're trying to sell a lower end PC for PC prices. A lower end PC for PC prices, and convenient factor is it's on the go. You could take it with you. Play games anywhere. That's what they're trying to do. Okay.
Okay.
I don't see this in my future at all, because the only way I would buy this in any form is if it's below $500. Okay. I don't want to buy a Switch because I know the Switch is just that. I can only play the Switch games. If this thing is the same price as the Switch with the bundle, that's all right. You got me wondering now, but now I need to know a battery life. I need to know battery life. I need to know how long it's going to last. I need to know how long, as you said in the very beginning, the stick drift. Okay, like I'm not buying day one. Never buying this day one. Okay, I'm waiting to see how long it takes to break it and stress test this thing, and how long the battery lasts after 6 months. Because that's going to be the biggest selling point for me. I'm like, if it lasts an hour, F that. You can keep your $500 or $900 or whatever it is. I don't need it, right? I'll play my cell phone right now.
I mean, the bombardment of stupidity though is hitting me in the head so hard. It's like I don't understand what you want me to purchase anymore. The marketing. They
don't want you to purchase anything really.
The marketing is twisted.
It's
right.
$20.
You marketed me for not worrying about buying any hardware. Now you're marketing me to buy a piece of hardware that does everything. I don't get it. I understand. I don't see it. I don't see what they see. Okay? Unless you're trying to dip into Nintendo's pool because you don't think anyone's bothering Nintendo and you want to get into their pool a little bit, Because if you're buying a Switch, it's a handheld. You want to get into that market. I get it.
Well, here's the next story, Sarge. With it looks like Xbox could be phasing out physical games entirely. Which
no shit.
We've said for
many
shows, many times. And I remember having arguments with people, and I said that you're not going to be able to buy physical discs. And everyone's like, that's all I buy is physical discs. And I'm going to always buy. I'm like, you will until you can't.
You're buying CD keys.
Well, you will until you can't, because if they stop putting Xbox the disc drive edition in stores, and you can only buy the one with no disc drive, well, guess what? You can't purchase a physical copy anymore. Just like the S. I say this all the time. My son can't buy a physical disc. He has to get digital. He's in the ecosystem. Me, I can still buy physical discs, and that's why I bought the Xbox Series X, because I can still buy physical copies and put it in. Right. Until the industry decides that they don't want to make physical copies anymore, which we talked about a couple of weeks ago with Nintendo, right? With the little cartridge now, it's just a digital code, right? So now it looks like that they're not going to put it here. It says, I'll give you the cliff notes here, Sarge. It says Xbox may be phasing out physical discs as signs suggest a move towards digital-only gaming. It says none of the games announced during Xbox Games Showcase have disc versions for Xbox consoles listed on retailer sites. Okay, and however, PlayStation versions of these games do contain an actual disc, right? So if you're on PlayStation,
contain a disc, but the game's not on it.
Right, it could be just a
contain
a disc,
but doesn't have
like a key code on there where it accesses it, right? So a lot of people are a little concerned by this, not just with Xbox now, right? Target retailers are saying they're not getting physical copies in anymore. I talked about this on our morning show that I do. I said that the more you go to Best Buy or GameStop, you see the things getting shorter and smaller, right? Because of physical discs, because it's all digital. So you go to Target, it used to be rows and rows of stuff. Now it's like, ask cashier to get the code and the thing, and it's like, what's happening? Best Buy, you blink, you miss it. You're like, where's the Xbox section, right? It's like
they sell controllers,
2 shelves, and everything else is accessories like headphones and batteries and controllers and everything else, right? No games. There's barely any games, right? On top of this, Capcom clarification, fans flames of Switch 2 game keycard controversy, okay? So, see, people wear red shirts, Sarge, and they wear green shirts and blue shirts. And they have a, woo, yeah, give me the game, yeah. They're all on the same team. They are all on the same team. When they decide that they don't want to make physical games anymore, the industry says we're not going to make physical games, and then we don't have physical games anymore, right? And Nintendo's like, well, we'll just train them. We'll make believe that there's an actual physical game, but there's actually not a physical game, right? So it says Capcom counts Switch 2 game keycard sales as digital, igniting debate, okay? Game keycards games require downloads, making them similar to digital copies, and gamers are afraid that this could push more companies to push producing physical game copies.
Yes.
No shit.
No shit.
Because why would I charge you $80 and I only get, I don't know, $40 of that back when I can get all digital and I can get $78 of the $80 back, right? Come on, people. What are we thinking here? So are you like you buy games still, Sarge, right? Digital versions of the games.
I have
to
all the time, I have to find out right now. I have to figure out what game I'm going to buy physical to be my last game physical, because right now my last game physical is Avengers, and I can't have that be my last game I bought physical. I can't have that be
Gate 3.
I didn't buy it. You bought it.
You didn't buy it.
I didn't buy it. I cannot have my last physical game purchase be Avengers. I got to find something to buy that the game is on the disc, and I have to buy it. I got to find out where games are on disc, and I got to buy something, because I can't let Avengers be that game. Can't.
So my question, look,
I do, Water.
I love video games, and I'm not going to stand on a hill and say I'm not going to play games if there's no physical copies, because I don't have physical copies in front of me now, and I've been playing for the last 5 years. Okay, but is there a point where if they stop making physical games, are you done? Or are you only buying games that are physical, or are you only buying games on digital on PC now? You're not going to get console anymore. Like, do you have a line that you draw in the sand where you're not going to support video games anymore? Not really.
It's not about not supporting. I don't have an option. If I like a game, I have to buy it digitally. There's no other option anymore. right? Or
Right.
I wait for it to come on Game Pass. See, the difference for me is that I don't buy everything that comes down the pike anymore because nothing really interests me anymore. Like I've seen the type
Well,
of
yeah,
genres. I
you don't
don't
buy
care.
day one, right?
Right. I don't buy anything day one. If it's something interesting that I feel like I would like to play, then I purchase the game. Right. If I wait long enough and they tell me it's on Game Pass, then I don't have to purchase it. See, the mentality for me is if a new game comes out, I'm like, great, there's something new coming out. But I'm off center than the rest of you. You guys want to buy that shit and pre-order it, which I still don't understand how much brain damage you are to buy a pre-order digital game day one. It doesn't make sense to me, but you do you, boo. Right? So for me, if a game comes out, I know in a year or 18 months, that game's going to be on sale. And if I like it, I'll get it then. Right? Then at that point, if it's on sale, then it's either going to be on Game Pass and I get to try it without buying it, or if finally it's finally on a digital sale, one of the 2 or 3 sales they have during the year, and I end up buying it on. I just buy the digital version, right? Like right now, they're going to do a remaster of Dawn of War 1, right? They're going to do a remaster because they fucked up the third game so badly that no one wants to even talk about them anymore. So they're going to try to win fans back. They're going to remaster the first game, which was an amazing game. And it's been modded to hell. And so the mod support, the community support for the game is still there. So my thing now is what that game's going to be, what the remaster is going to be charged. What are they going to charge me for the remaster on that game? That's what I'm looking at now. That's right. That's what I'm looking at. That's like the last thing I'm looking at currently. Otherwise, I'm like, it doesn't matter. Right? Like the real fake wizard. He says people talk like they're addicted, like they can't stop themselves.
Yeah, it was crazy when he said that. I was like, what?
I'm like, what do you mean you can't stop yourself from buying? It's very simple. Can I pay my mortgage and bills, or am I going to get a fucking video game day one? Does that make sense to anybody? If it doesn't, then I'm glad you guys have the disposable income to buy the games. But remember, you are in charge of how much games cost. If you pay $80 for games, then the games are $80. If you don't pay $80, they lower the price and you get the game on sale. But if you really believe that you're helping somebody, that you're helping out the developers, and you've got to pre-order it and pay day one, then you do you.
Right. Real quick, I forgot to read the super chat that came in earlier, about like a half hour ago. Akuta Papa said, I did some looking. Ahoy actually looks good. Like Sarge, I love history, and I'm hoping they do a really good job. Thank you very much for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you. Yeah, so if you do super chats, I usually read them right away. Obviously, I'll read them by the end of the show, but if you do a super chat, I will read it on stream when you do it. We got in the conversation and went from one story to the next, and I forgot to read it. My apologies, Aku.
You guys, like, do you guys not see the power that you have of the purse, like the power of the purchase? You guys don't see it, like when Concord came out and everyone just said "fuck you" and you're done. Concord, yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Right,
Okay.
yeah, right. You see what happens? Like it's almost brutal. It's almost like watching like a public execution, right? Where you used to lop off the heads of people in the streets to teach everybody a lesson. Like game comes out, everyone's like, and your studio's dead. Right?
Yeah.
That's how it has to be across the board. Like, don't put your toe in the water. Don't be like, I'm going to pre-order. Like, show me the game. Right? And the minute they realize that they can be executed at any moment, you damn well better believe that the game comes out fucking finished and ready. You better believe it. You better believe it.
Perfect timing, Sarge. See, I go with audibles. I wasn't going to talk about this yet, but since you just brought it up,
I didn't bring up nothing.
Yeah, no. Reports say that Dragon Age Veilguard struggles stemmed from management decisions. I thought it was because we were sexist, racist, and misogynistic is why this game failed, and not because of bad management. That's what we were told. But now, oh man, this is good. Now, an article was written by good old Jason Schreier, the same Jason Schreier that came out and called everyone chuds because this game sold super well when it came out, and then all the chuds were going to be mad that it was going to be good, and then it didn't sell so well. It didn't do very well, and the reason is not because you're sexist, racist, and misogynistic. It's because the game sucked, And it had so many problems before it came out because it went from a single player game to a multiplayer game to a live service game back to a single player game, and they never stopped to reload it and finish it and go back. They just kept continuing on. They were supposed to be a co-op game. It was supposed to be a Dreadwolf, okay? Now, I talked about this years ago and said, do not buy this game because of all of these things I said. And now the great old Jason Schreier came out and he reported on it. Even though all of this has been reported before, just bits and pieces the entire time if you were paying attention.
Yeah, but he was told not to talk about it. He was told not to talk about it.
Great. People wrote stories about it. We all knew about it. Mark Dario went to work on it, then went over to Anthem, then went back over here. Like, a whole bunch of stuff has happened where we knew these things to happen. And now the great old Jason Schreier came out and said, it's true. It's true. Management did suck. Okay.
No shit. No shit.
It always comes down to upper management. All these things happen because there's people in charge that don't know what they're doing, don't care what they're doing, or don't know how to do what they're doing. Okay? They get overwhelmed. I talked about this earlier. You're in the hospitality business, Sarge, right? The weeds. When you go to a restaurant, you ever eaten at a restaurant and then they're in the weeds?
Oh,
and
I can tell.
There's two types of people, right? There's the people like know what the fuck they're doing, and the weeds don't really affect them. They just do the job, get it done. And then there's the people that freak the fuck out, don't know how to give change,
cry,
get in the back, turn on their camera, and make a video on Starbucks because there's too many customers asking for drinks. Yep. Okay, they want me to work 8 hours. Like these are the people that don't understand what they're doing. Okay, upper management.
Yes.
99.9% of the time is the problem why the devs can't do their job, because the devs are just devs. They're just doing what they're told. And they go, okay, do more of that. That's what we're going to do. And then they start noticing, right? And I'll tell you my background with film. If we had to do 12 pages in one day and we only get to do 9 pages, well, those other pages move over to the next day. And if those move over to the next day, well, then the next day's load is 12 pages. And we only get 8 days. Well, then there's two. Now we have 6 pages. Well, that makes the production go longer and longer and longer, and it just keeps getting bigger. If you're a construction worker, you don't measure correctly, it's like this big over here, but then at the end of the board, you're like 2 feet off, right? Like, this is what happens when you don't have people knowing what they're doing and keep track of people to keep them on task. Laura Fryer in a video the other day said she did a video or did a game, and she told people, give me what one character is going to look like by the end of this thing. And they didn't do it. And then she said, do it again. And they didn't do it. And then they canceled the game. She's like, I felt so bad, but this was my thing. We had to cancel the game. And guess what happened? They canceled the game. Okay. So it's not like it's a shock, right? Everyone that works any job knows that your job or work sucks or is great. Why? Because your boss or your boss's boss. Because if they know what's happening and know what you're doing, your job's much easier. If they have no idea what your job is, you hate your job because you're like, my boss doesn't know a fucking thing, and we just keep getting in, and you're in the weeds. You're in the weeds. They're not. They're sitting up in their cushy office going, so I need you to come in on Saturday, right?
Look at this new car I got.
Yeah, look at this brand new car.
Look at this new car I got.
So there's my little rant. So were you shocked, Sarge, that Veilguard sucked because it sucked, not because of sexist, racist, and misogynists?
It's the same story over and over again. You have outside money being given to studios to fit a narrative. It's been going on for a while. They think that diversity in gaming is going to make them better or stronger or whatever word you want to use. What they realized is nobody wants to see or play a game that interferes with the power fantasy that most people are playing the game for, right? We don't care. I don't want to be preached to. I don't want to be talked down to. I want to play a fucking video game because It's the only time I get to myself because everybody else is up my ass, right? Family's up your ass, your kids are up your ass. Everybody, I want a couple hours to myself, right? You won't give me my man cave, so I'm going to take this room over here and play a video game for a couple hours, right? And so how many failures do you need to see before you say to yourself, maybe the people that we hired aren't for this job. Maybe we are hiring the wrong people for this job, right? But you have to understand that they didn't care because it wasn't their money.
It wasn't their money, right?
The rule you have to remember in any business, like if I have $3 million cash,
Never use your own money,
right? You never ever use your own money. The light bulb will click in your head when you become an entrepreneur and you want to do something and you saved up a bunch of money that you wanted to do something with, and you start to realize that if I use my own money and fail, then I become broke. But if I use somebody else's money and fail, then it's a write-off. You understand the difference. Once you reach that level in life, you'll understand. Like somebody who wants to get a loan, this is the one that you'll hear from somebody. They'll say, I went to get a loan. I wanted a $10,000 loan. And they said that I don't have any collateral. And you say to yourself, that's correct, because you don't have any way of paying that back in case you fail.
right?
Right. However,
No accountability. No accountability.
right.
Basically.
Right. You don't. Right. But if I have 20 grand in the bank, assets, 20 grand in the bank, and then I want to go out and borrow $10,000, the bank will say no problem because we know that you have it. But then you say to yourself, well, I had the money. Why wouldn't I just use my money? There's where the brain has to switch. You have to understand that you have to get the money put away in order for you to take the loan out on that money. So you don't have to worry about it in case it goes down. Yeah, you're going to worry about it, but it's not the impact is not as severe because a lot of businesses fail. A lot of things fail. A matter of fact, 60, 70% of every business ever started fails. Why is that? Right? Do you think that every entrepreneur that comes up with an idea, opens up a restaurant, a food truck, a retail store, whatever, and they succeed? Look it up, guys. 70%. I think it's even higher than that, but I don't want to go higher than that. 75%, somewhere in there, even probably even a little higher, right? Everybody who tries to start their own business fails. Why is that? Because you're ambitious enough to want to do the job, but you don't know how to run the day-to-day business, right? Same thing. We're talking about a video game. Do you understand how many cogs are in this fucking wheel to get a game made, right? Besides the money, you got to have someone that's good with people, who understands the people beneath him, who knows the talents of the guys beneath him, who can make these guys work in a direction that leads to a goal, right? You have a whiteboard, map, whatever you want to call it, your PowerPoint presentation of like what it is we're trying to do. What are we trying to do, right? We're trying to make a vampire game. Great. What's the character's name? What does he look like? Where is he from? Like, there's 1,001 things that happen when you say one word. 1,000 things have to happen, and then 1,000 more things have to happen to get him on the screen, right? And you think for a minute they give a shit about what happens. They know that this is a multi-billion-dollar industry. They know that if they put at least 50% in and lie to you, that they'll get enough of you fuckers to buy the game in order for them to sustain themselves for another go at it. Instead, you should let these motherfuckers die on the vine so we can clear out the fucking bullshit and get some creative people in here so we can have games that don't all look the fucking same. They're all the same.
This is perfect timing because now we're going to talk about Mind's Eye. Right? Mind's Eye gets Cyberpunk treatment as PlayStation issues refunds. Okay, as Sarge just said it so beautifully, okay? People try to take your money because they try to make a game. This ain't a game, okay? This ain't a game, okay? Mind's Eye is off to a troubled start, and the experience of the remnants of CD Projekt Red experience with launch of Cyberpunk 2077 similar to what PlayStation has begun issuing refunds on Mind's Eye, okay? So they're canceling streams with streamers for promotional material because the game is broke, okay? The game, they said, the developers came out and said, we're going to work super hard to get the game finished. I have a question. Why didn't you work super hard to finish the game before it came out? Okay? No one's talking about this game. It's very eerily weird because they didn't give review codes. They didn't put anything out because they had to have a day one patch. Like, it's the first game ever to have a day one patch. Okay. They didn't put it out to anybody. They didn't give it to anybody. So now people are playing it and they're going, what is the only sales that this game is making is by content creators. Okay. Which is never a good sign because, those people are going to buy everything. So it's not representing your game if it's good or bad. It's just, this game looks fun, and they buy it, and then it's not, right? So What do you think about Mind's Eye? We've been talking about it for the last couple weeks now, Sarge. And now here it is. It came out 2 days ago, and it's like a wet fart. Nobody, like we heard it. We heard it was a wet fart, but no one's discussing it. No one's saying anything about that. Like that guy just shit his pants.
You showed the videos. I went back to look at the videos in the past, and I agree with you that this is a part of a game that was inside the game that they were talking about. They ran out of time. They were able to pull resources out of the ambitious project that they had in order to make a smaller story-driven game. That's what I see. That's what it is. Now, the guys who are doing this, they seem to have more talent than money. And so
500 people worked on this game.
Yep. They seem to have more talent than money, because if this succeeds at all, they get to have the money back, then at least we know that they have talented people that are there. However, you do realize that the leadership left a week before the game released.
Well, not the leadership, the chief financial officer and the chief legal officer.
Oh,
The legal officer makes me really laugh, because that guy's like, I'm not dealing with all these legal fees, all this legal trouble.
Yeah, because something will come out, right?
Yeah.
Asset stealing is probably going to come out eventually, but we'll see.
I look, it's like I have an act to smell the bullshit from these when you see these things. You go, yeah, that's shit. I can sense the wind. Skull and Bones, Battlefield 2042, Cyberpunk at launch, right? Mind's Eye, Concord.
Did you see 500 people?
500 people, yeah. 500 people. There's no way this game makes its money back. They say they want it to last 10 years.
I don't listen to that shit no more.
It's not going to be 10 weeks.
How many years that they were in development for?
Krebsy said something earlier and said it was, and I don't know if it's true. Krebsy, how many years was it? 9 years? 9 years is everywhere, but I don't think 9 years is Mind's Eye. I think Mind's Eye was done in 12 months.
Yeah, I want to know where they got.
I
want to know where they got the money from. How many years? How many years of development?
We don't know.
Because if I do the standard 5 years with 500 people with the average salary of $85,000, and I know it's plus or minus that, but I'm just trying to get an average here. You're looking at 212 million people, or $212 million.
Okay, $212 million. Now times that by 60. Like divide that by 60. How many copies do they need to sell?
It's not a $60 game.
It's a $60 game. Yeah. I clarified yesterday. Mind's Eye started in 2022. The studio opened 9 years ago in 2016.
They need 3.6 million copies is what they need.
So if they started working in 2022, I don't think they started working on 2022, because in 2022 everywhere was a thing. Microtransactions and NFTs were a thing. I'm telling you, this game was turned over in less than a year and a half to where it is right now with the engine that they're using.
I mean,
that's my assessment.
It looks like a talented group asset flip.
Yeah, if they had 4 years instead of 18 months, I think they could make a game. But this is not a game. This was trying to steal money from people. I mean, so they can get everywhere inside.
Well, look at the game, right? It's the talent. I see the talent in the studio. I see the talent.
Yeah, they should make movies with the cutscenes are good.
Right? I see the talent. So maybe they're just trying to save face, and they were able to. Well, let's put it this way. Let's say you started off with a giant pirate game, open world, and then by the time you got to year 4,
it was Skull and Bones.
You were like, there was no way for us to finish this. So instead of making a giant pirate game open world, you scaled it down. You released
Skull and Bones,
a basic pirate game, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So these guys, same type of thing, really ambitious, open world type thing. It looks like a Grand Theft Auto. Like everyone's trying to get excited. You start off with these big ambitions. You realize you're running out of time, but you're talented enough to pull out parts of the game and make it into a smaller game that people would actually be able to play, right? So I give them credit for that. However, come on.
They have 8 months, right? They got July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February. That's it. After that, everyone's going to buy Grand Theft Auto, when it comes out in May, they're saving their money for the $100 video game. This game is never heard of from again. Never heard from again. It's completely gone.
Yes,
doesn't get touched.
But the answer still is the fact that the CFO, the chief financial officer, and the legal guy left, which means both of those things are probably dirty. The money's dirty, and the legality of the game is dirty. So something eventually is going to come out. We'll wait and see.
Yeah.
But it seems weird that those two people would leave before the game was released.
All right, the next story I want to talk about, Sarge, is Splitgate, right? Splitgate 2. Bueller News just came out with a video earlier before the show started. Like, it came out maybe like 4 or 5 hours ago. He does a whole synopsis of the whole thing. I kind of went over it in my morning show.
Is this the apology guy?
This is the guy on the apology tour. Yeah. So basically, the guy was on the Summer Game Fest, came on stage and said, "I want Call of Duty good again. I want Titanfall 3. We're the guys who made Splitgate 1. We're making Splitgate 2. You know, awesome game. Come and buy it. Make first-person shooters great again," right? He's becoming that edgy, like, yeah, we're the good guys. These are the bad guys. We're bringing back first-person shooters.
He bailed on this first game.
Well, yeah, he bailed on the Splitgate 1. They got $100 million from that, okay, to make another game, which is this, okay? So they made Splitgate 2. They made a Battle Royale. He said he was working on the Battle Royale because 5 years ago he had a dream, okay, and he wanted to make a Battle Royale, make it better or whatever, okay? But Splitgate 1 was about the arena. Now, everyone that plays Splitgate says it's a fantastic game, but it's the most monetization, high-end prices I've ever seen, okay, in a game like this. It's free to play. They were charging $140, okay, for the Battle Pass or whatever it was, and then he comes out and says, we're doing half off, and now it's $80. What's half of 140? Real quick.
But that's
real quick. Half of 140 is 70. They're doing 80, so they didn't give you 50% off. They gave you less than 50% off, okay? They could cut this down from 80 to 40. They could cut 40 down to 20. They can cut 20 down to 10, and then you can start talking about making microtransactions in this game, right? They're selling $32 Portal skins, okay? Portal skins, $32 for one Portal skin that they created, a Portal. So they're making the problem, selling you the solution. They make a Portal, but if you want a cooler looking Portal, you have to pay $32 for a Portal skin. Go fuck yourself. Okay, so making an apology for his hat, which I don't think is a big deal. You get the meme, you don't get the meme. I mean, that's just it. If you're offended by his hat, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, so he's apologized for his hat. He's apologized for the microtransactions. He's apologized for throwing the guy who made the microtransactions, who was an ex-Call of Duty guy. Like, this dude is on a more of apology tour where he could have just said,
nothing.
Hey, here's our game. Let us know what you think. But now he's doing damage control about this, and it's just ridiculous because it's a free-to-play game, and now you're asking for $140, which now is down to $80, which is then make a $32 Portal skin.
But there's people out there that have more money than sense, and they'll buy it, right? It's about the ability to allow that to happen, as opposed to making it not be able to happen. If I make a free to play game, and I have prices of skins inside my game that are more than actual video games exist on the planet, right? That's the kind of shit that's going to involve lawyers very soon, right? Because you're no longer selling a product. You're basically selling a storefront that sells product. You're not selling a video game, right? That's the difference. Somebody who's smart is going to come out and going to sue these companies for this type of manipulation. Let's put it that way. Like, you do what you want to do. I get it. You want to make a game. He wants to make first person's great again. Like, I understand the draw for the game, because basically, if I make a map, there's no defensible spot on the map, right? Because I can make a portal anywhere, correct?
Right.
That's the whole thing of the game, right? There's no place to hide because I can be anywhere.
Fast-paced action, portal, keep your momentum going.
Right?
Yep.
Right. So I can constantly be moving, and I can be anywhere at any time, and it makes it a little bit more interesting. But at the same time, you have to get people who want to play that level and want to hand over money for no reason. Right. And apparently, listen, if you guys don't remember that they've been collecting data on you for X number of years now, and you don't know where that data is going to, like, you need to figure this out. The data is very simple. They know who's playing what game for how long and why. And so now they come out with games that fit the bill, and they charge the money that those people are willing to pay because they already know that they paid.
Right.
They're going after specific people with these games. That's why you're getting a game with the microtransaction of $40, $50, $80, because they know who plays that type of game, and so they made a game specifically for them. So if Splitgate 2 actually, with those kind of prices, actually functions for more than a year, you know that all the data they've been collecting is working.
Sure.
Right? Because to you it makes no sense, right? But you don't have the data.
Yeah, they're going for look. If
you don't have
Ahoy, if Ahoy can make a Kickstarter campaign and make $200,000 off of 1,800 people, and that's to finish a game, and they're asking for $140 for a microtransaction, which is now $80 for a microtransaction, you don't think they're going to make a lot of money from just a couple of people? I mean, come on. Look, what Krebsy just said in chat, right, which I was going to bring up, right? Guy said that he wanted Call of Duty is boring and proceeds to implement COD's prices in their game makes sense, right? Yeah, he doesn't like Call of Duty the way it is, but he's going to make a better game, but still charge what microtransactions that Call of Duty is doing, right? They're not even microtransactions anymore. They're just straight up like theft, really. I mean, to get someone $32 for a portal, that's no better than Call of Duty charging $1 for a fucking red dot. Okay,
everything's being it's a slow manipulation to get you to be comfortable with digital goods that have no value at all. For the cookie inside the game that's going to make you happy for 5 minutes, you're willing to spend $35, right? And so basically, I'm sorry to say this, basically these free to play games have basically just become the new digital strippers. That's what it is. Right? You guys want to play someplace that you're having fun. It's a good time, and you want to keep tipping them. So the girl comes over and sits on your lap, and it's a good time. Same shit. It's a different skin. Same shit. So you spending $30, $50, $100 every time you play a fucking game. It's just like you go into a strip club.
My problem is
same manipulation, guys.
My problem is they can charge for microtransactions. That's fine, but they're egregious with the greed factor of what they're charging for this microtransaction.
It's not greed to the people that they're selling to.
Sure.
It's not greed to the people they're selling to. But this is a long time coming, guy. You have watched microtransactions grow in number and in price for the last 5 to 7 years. You've watched it. They now figured out who will pay, who won't, and what kind of games do we need to make to get that group of people to pay me that money. That's what this is. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense how out of nowhere you get a game like this and someone's dropping $30, $40, $80 for a skin. Like, who does that? They found who. They have the data to prove it.
Right. All right, we got the red bar up. If you have a question, put a Q in front of the question you have. We'll gather them up as we talk. As you guys are doing the questions, we have a couple of different stories that I'm just going to go real fast over just to give you guys quick description of them. Marathon brought a new creative director last month in. Okay, Marathon experienced a turbulence period last month, and the theft of issues. It seems also hired a new creative director in May of 2025. So Marathon hired a new creative director just 4 months before the game launches. I'm sure everything is fine there. Just Cause 5 was reportedly canceled mid-development, but yet Mind's Eye is $60, and it's out today, right? But Just Cause 5 would had 4 sequels ahead of it, which sold very well each time. Just Cause 5 canceled. Nintendo Switch 2 just came out this week as well, and it sold 3.5 million copies, or actually it came out last week, but 3.5 million copies worldwide. So obviously those are the people I was talking about last week, Sarge, when I said those are the Disney fans.
People.
Those are the Disney guys, right? Which was funny because the Real Fake Wizard had a video after our show last week, and he talked about the Disney fans, and I called them adult Disney fans. He called them neckbeards. And then today, the broken NPC, the girl that we talked about, she admitted, she was like, Disney fans and Nintendo fans are like the same, right? And I just
are.
started laughing. I was like, look at this. It all comes around full circle here, right?
They are.
I just like the fact that I say it, and then days later, these videos get uploaded, and you can see it. So yeah, Nintendo, 3.5 million, fastest selling console ever for the first 4 days. I want to know the 5th day, 6th day, 7th day, and what's actually happening there. But there you have it for those. Let's see. Add your questions. Do your questions, guys. If you have no questions, then I guess the show will end. If you have questions, we'll read the questions. Real quick, Sarge, while they're also talking or coming up with questions, Grounded 1 and Grounded 2, right? Grounded 2 got announced at Summer Game Fest or at Xbox Showcase, okay? Grounded 2 is coming out in early access, okay? I brought up earlier in my show, in the morning show, Grounded 1 was in early access for 3 years, and then it launched.
3 years.
3 years preview program. Then came out in 2022, right? So it's been out for like 5 years total, okay? And where Grounded 1 is today is a much better game than it was when it first launched. My thing is, Grounded 2 comes out. Do you think it has to have the bar set by Grounded 1 5 years later? Does Grounded 2 have to hit the bar where Grounded 1 left off? Or do you think because it's early access, they can back off a little bit and then bring it back up to par with where Grounded 1 ended? Or do you think Grounded 2 needs to hit that bar and proceed to exceed it for Grounded 2?
Well, you know this. You know that if you can add things to a game and charge a minimal price to it, whereas you can make an entirely different new game to get a larger chunk of money up front. That's basically what this is. It was probably time for a sequel, so they probably came up with a bunch of new things to add to the game and decided that it wasn't worth their time to add it to the normal game where they can actually make a new game.
3 times the size of the map. They said the map is 3 times the size of the last map. So they made a different area, a park inside the thing instead of a backyard. I get that they have to add more stuff, and this is why they're charging. But my question is the actual game itself.
We'll make a game still.
Do they reset it? Yeah, but do they reset it, and then for the next 4 years you're making that game better, but it's also lower than what Grounded 1 was? You see what I'm saying?
Well, here's how I look at sequel games now, right? Not all this way, but here's how you kind of look at it. If you've already played Grounded 1, and you played it, even if you didn't get it during the preview program, you played it now for 5 years.
Yeah.
Right. So either you're pretty much done with it, or you really like it, and you're probably going to buy the second one. However, if I never bought Grounded 1, the only way I can get new people involved is to do better than the first one. So when people look at it, they say, "Oh, here's an interesting game. Wow, it's Grounded 2," and then you say, "Well, what was the first one?" And then they do a little comparison. So you're bringing in a new group of people who are interested in that type of game because you already spent the goodwill for the people that already bought the first one, right? Because when you buy a game like that, it's not like you need to get the sequel. You're just interested that a sequel came out, and you might look to see what's different. Now, if you're an old-time player of it and everything's the same except now you get to ride something, is that worth you getting a whole other game just because you could ride an ant and fight with an ant? Like, is that worth it? Right?
Yeah,
but for somebody who's never played the game,
insects.
Right? But for the people who've never played the game before, oh, this is cool. It's co-op, ride animals, whatever. They never saw the first one, right? So you're cultivating a new group of people to buy your game because it's been 5 years. That's like an entire high school, college cycle.
Yeah, they said in the diary that they are taking out the zip line. And the zip line was a big community thing that people asked for in the first game when they were in the preview program, because to get around the backyard a little bit faster and stuff, because there was no mounts, right?
So what, the mount's faster? Is that what it is now? You
well,
the zip line because of the mount?
So the zip line was the fastest thing, and the only way you could do that was you would have to go up to a high spot, and then you would jump off either with a flower to float across the way. Then they added zip lines, and people said, hey, can you add zip lines? And they did add the zip lines, and you go back and forth. It was really cool, right? This in the diary, they said they took the zip lines out to kind of retool them, because now in the second one they gave us mounts. So now you can ride ants and spiders and whatnot, and they can fight along with you and mine with you and whatnot. So perfect example is they took the Kona Vision out from Madden, right? And then they did something else, and they came back with the Kona Vision. They took the zip lines out because of this other mechanic that they're putting in the game, and then they're going to retool the zip lines and put them back in. But that's my point, right? Like, you're taking something out of the first game that people really liked, and it was mandatory, but now you put something cooler inside because now you have mounts you can ride and have a whatever. And then they're going to put it back later. So now you're waiting for something that you already had, which now you don't have in the second game. And I just feel like because it's a sequel, I feel like the sequel should at least start at the same where the ending point was. It's different. It's different if it was a non-sequel, right? So there's another game called Small Land, okay, which is almost like Grounded, okay? They both came out around the same time. I think Small Land came out afterwards, but it was only on PC. It wasn't on the console. And you had mounts in that, and you had things that in that game that Grounded didn't have. And now Grounded 2 looks like it's almost doing what that game did, and it's just kind of weird. I don't know. I just feel like it's a weird. First of all, it's weird that Grounded 2 is coming out, and Obsidian is just knocking them out of the park. I mean, even if the games are not fantastic, Avowed was good, right? I'm sure Outer Worlds 2 will be good. And then you have Grounded 2 coming out. That's 3 games by one studio in 12 months, which is crazy. And off the top, just like that. Anyone can ask a question, guys. It doesn't have to be like you don't have to pay to ask a question. You don't have to be a member to ask a question. Anyone can ask a question, right? If I see it and I choose to read it, we'll answer it. If not, no big deal. But yeah, you don't have to be a member or anything to ask a question. You can just ask a question. We don't have to answer it because if it's a stupid question. And they tell you there's no such thing as a stupid question, except when you're on a podcast and they ask a stupid question. Okay, so let's start.
I thought there was no stupid questions, just stupid people.
Well, there's stupid questions if you ask me like I don't know, did I mow my grass today? Like that's a stupid question. I'm not going to read that.
Giggity,
right? You know what I mean? No, not that grass. All right. First question. We'll leave that up there for a little bit. Are you guys going to get a Switch 2? No. Even if I did get a Switch 2, I don't want to say never, Dolphin. It would be like 2.5 to 3 years in the cycle. I said a couple weeks ago that I wouldn't buy it unless it was the OLED, where they had the better screen. The price has to come down. The battery life has to be a little bit better. I'll wait for the second generation, maybe the third generation. We didn't buy the first Switch until 3 years into the cycle, 3.5 years into the cycle. So, not going to get it.
I don't give Nintendo any more money. I stopped buying Nintendo products a while back because of what they do. I'm done with Nintendo.
Right. All right. So there goes that one. Next question. Krebsy says, do you think Mind's Eye will get a Cyberpunk 2.0 moment, or will they just wash their hands and try to come back with another Everywhere spinoff?
You got 8 months to do something. When Grand Theft Auto comes out, you're done.
Yeah, this game is done. If they don't do their 2.0 moment before the 8 months, and even if it does 8 months, it's not going to do very well. Let's just say it has a No Man's Sky moment, right? It has a No Man's Sky moment, Cyberpunk 2.0 moment. Do they wash their hands? I think they just... I don't think it's going to have that, personally. I think Everywhere is the thing, and I think they'll just try to swap it back over to their original plan of what Everywhere was. I do believe this studio gets closed down within the year. 100%. Not here for 10 years. They get closed down within 12 months of this game launching. So by June next year, this studio will close.
I mean,
that's my prediction.
You need to put a book it moment in here. Otherwise, you're never going to find this moment again.
Oh, I guess I could do that. All right, let me do the book moment. Okay, the big book of bull. Okay, just put a memo down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Repeat it.
Mind's Eye will not have a 2.0 moment, and by this time next year, by June 10th of next year, Mind's Eye, Build a Rocket Boy Studio, will be closed down. That is my prediction for this studio, because this game's not going anywhere. They got 8 months before Grand Theft Auto, basically 10 months before Grand Theft Auto comes out, but 8 months. If Grand Theft Auto gets delayed again, this game is done regardless, because as soon as that comes out, no one's ever going to touch this game ever again. So that's my prediction for Big Book of Bull.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's I think if they make their money back at all, I think that's they wash their hands of it. They got lucky. They move on.
I don't think they're making their money back.
I said if they get lucky.
All right, bookend it. Next question. Kevin says, have you been to Disney Park since Epic Universe opened? I have. Do you have any other question besides that? Do you want to know more?
Wait time. What's wait time?
It sounds like a two-parter somewhere, but you didn't ask it.
Wait time below.
So it was dead. It was dead. We went to Epcot, and there was no lines to like anything. It was actually real nice. It reminded me of COVID times, which reminded me of times before COVID, before it got super popular. It was just really nice to walk around, and there wasn't a lot of people there. So yeah, there wasn't a lot of people there. So it was empty. No lines to get to anything. And that was on a Saturday.
Beautiful.
No, that was on a Friday night. So
beautiful.
Of course, Sarge wasn't there because
I wasn't there.
Yeah.
I don't go to Disney anymore.
No. We got Big Mo with the question. We got Krebsy with the question. We got Big Mo. Big Mo all of a sudden woke up. He's like, "Wait a minute, it's question time." All right, let me take the banner down. Okay, no more questions. I got some Dune Awakening waiting for me. All right, so we got the Disney Park since it opened. We got the next question. Krebsy says, "Did you see that the company is using AI to replace jobs? Disney and Universal are now suing an AI company for copyright infringements. Could this spawn the first laws in AI?" Yeah, I would think so, because we said it was like it's the Wild West right now. As long as they're not monetizing stuff, right? So if I can make AI and make a Mickey Mouse type of stuff, as long as I'm not monetizing it, they have nothing. Okay, but if you're monetizing stuff, then they can sue you 100%. I don't think there's a problem, because let's just take the AI out of it for a second. If I'm an artist and I wanted to draw a picture of Mickey Mouse, I can, because I'm drawing Mickey Mouse. Now, if I sell Mickey Mouse, I have a problem, because I don't have a license. They literally have people that have licenses that they actually sell their stuff at Epcot, right? There's chosen people that they pay a fee to make pictures or artwork or photographs of these characters, and then they sell them at the art show that happens at Epcot and then other places. Anybody else that doesn't have a license, and they don't give out many licenses for this, gets sued. So if you're an AI creator and you're making a Disney movie, short film, fan film, whatever else, you should be fine as long as you're not monetizing it and making money off of that. But so there's already rules in place for this stuff with art in general. So now it's just AI art. They would have to adjust the rules for AI.
Yeah, lawyers are foaming at the mouth right now, because it's a whole another area opening up. People we have to read into the laws of what actually AI is going to do. It's going to be a clusterfuck for a while. There's going to be a lot of people taking advantage of before laws go into place that protect jobs. Yeah, it's going to be kind of a mess. We'll see how it happens.
Next question is, Dupla says, what color is your poop first thing in the morning?
Reese's
peanut
peanut butter
one?
cup. Yeah, Reese's peanut butter cup.
Yeah, it's like
color.
A healthy one. I don't.
Yep, healthy.
I mean, if you're pushing too hard.
If you're asking Duplas, you should probably go talk to somebody.
Yeah, you probably should go checked out. You know,
it should be.
Yeah,
it should be like a light chocolate bar.
Yeah. Why is Xbox better? Meaning with strategy, as far as what?
I don't know. I don't think it's better. I think they just know what's happening. They're reading the market better.
You say it's better with strategy, but it's very confusing. I'll be honest with you, right? It's very confusing, Mo, because everything's an Xbox, but then they were going to make a new Xbox, right? So why do I need your Xbox if everything is an Xbox, right? If I could play everywhere and all my library is there, they have to clarify what my whole library. I've been an Xbox for a long time. I got a big fucking library. Is all those games on there? Where does it cut off, right? So they might be better at their strategy, as you say, but they're still very confusing on what they're saying in their strategy. Because if everything's an Xbox, why would I need to buy another Xbox?
Right. I mean, they're better with strategy because they're slowly pulling people into the ecosystem where they have quality games inside the Game Pass ecosystem that warrants you being there longer than a couple of months. And once they have a cycle of games, and if you think about it, let's say they end up with like 300 games, but there's only 100 on there, right? But every so many months or so, you might bring back an old game back onto the system again. So people who are like, I don't really know if I want Game Pass or not, but you keep knowing that even if a game goes off of Game Pass, it might come back on again because it's part of this You know how like when a fighting game comes out, like a bunch of fighting games come out, right?
Yeah, like
So
they're coming out now.
it happens all the time. Like there'll be a sailing game, and then sailing games come out, or there'll be like a first-person shooter, then all the first-person shooter games.
Did
come
you
out.
say ceiling game or sailing?
Sailing game?
Okay, I was like,
Sailing
what the
game.
fuck is a ceiling game? I was
Yeah,
like,
sailing game. So what ends up happening is if I have enough games in rotation, let's say that they come out with a driving game, right? So maybe for the month that comes out, like they re-put all these driving games back onto Game Pass to compete with the driving game that came out, right? And then maybe you like that one better. So then now you can buy it on Game Pass and get it at a discount. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of marketing involved here. Like you could just chase whatever's going on. If there's a bunch of RPGs, you can put some RPGs on Game Pass. And if there's, you know what I mean? Like you just change it whenever they want. And so eventually you have a library that's so big, it's like, well, why don't I have this? Right? That's the question you had to end up asking yourself is why don't I have Game Pass?
do you know what I just thought of? Season 2 of Fallout. I don't know why this popped in my head when you're talking, but season 2 of Fallout, the show, comes out next year. Okay. And I have a feeling
How
that
delayed are they? It's already a year behind.
well, it's not really
Are
a
they-
year behind. For some
they having
reason,
trouble
like, the
filming? Are
streaming
they having trouble
shows are like
filming?
always spaced out weird anyway, right? So if season 2 comes out and it's taking place in New Vegas, how much you want to bet that Fallout 76 adds a New Vegas DLC? Not that it's New Vegas like the game in Fallout 76, but it's just a DLC where you can go to New Vegas,
I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't do that.
right? I don't know if they're doing that. I just feel like that's what they're doing.
I mean, it would be good. It would be cross promotion.
Yeah. I don't know why that just popped in my head. I just figured,
How
Put it out
how about this? How about that next year when the new season of the Fallout game comes out because of New Vegas? How about they do a remaster version of New Vegas? And
well, they
release
could.
that.
They could, but this is what I'm saying. Bare minimal viable product, right? What's the lowest they could do? The update right now for Fallout 76 was fishing. Seems pretty bare bone for fishing.
Yeah.
Meaning I feel like they're working on something bigger for the next expansion, which could be Fallout something with Vegas.
I'm gonna go. When is the show supposed to release?
I think early next year.
So springtime, the spring version. Like
Yeah, it might
February,
be late this year. It might be early
March.
next year. It might be late this year in December, or it might be early next year.
I'll go. I think we're gonna go with next year, right? If they've been delayed for writers' things and whatever else has been going on, so I think that when that show releases, I'm leaning towards that Bethesda releases a remaster of it New Vegas.
Well, Fallout's the next one in line, supposedly, but we'll see.
It is Fallout.
No,
Fallout
no,
New Vegas.
no, Fallout.
Oh, you're talking about the
Fallout
3.
3 remake
You're talking about
is supposed
Fallout-
to be the next one in.
We'll see.
All right, next question is Mo says, "Do you like space? Like, do I like my space,
outer
or
space, or my own personal
like outer
space?
space? Like, which one do you mean? Is it?
I
is
love my personal space.
it, yeah, personal space is great.
Outer space
I don't
sucks.
give a shit. Yeah, fucking
Yeah,
die in
sci-fi
3
show
seconds
stuff
and
is
stuff. Yeah,
Space is
no.
cool, but real outer space sucks.
No, it's
Sucks.
no. You freeze to death. You can't breathe. It's like being underwater, but worse, right? Like,
Do I like outer space? The concept, yes. The
yeah, I
reality
like
of it,
the
no.
concept. Yeah, don't want to go there. Like, you'll never see me. Hey, who wants to go to Mars? Nah, I'm good. I'll stay right here.
Oh, you want to be like Katy Perry? You want to be an astronaut, bro?
Yeah, no, I don't need to be an astronaut. I'm an electrician. I turned on my lights today and stuff.
Yeah.
It's-
Yep.
Yeah. Next question. Krebsy says, do you find it funny that the journalists failed at their job so much that they took till now for someone to mention nearly every year in the last 5 years Wukong has done something on August 20th? No, they didn't fail. They were in there every single time when they were doing the articles. But Wukong, I love how people just skip over. If you're going to skip over that the announcement was every August 20th, then you also have to tell them when they said it'll take years to optimize. And then they did come out and say, well, it took us earlier than we thought, which wasn't years, it was months, which is a big difference, right? So you could say it's ironic or coincidence. It's August 20th. They could have waited till next year because they said years. But for the most part, it's a little weird. We're never going to know. Well, I shouldn't say never going to know. We'll find out sometime down the line what actually happened. But yeah, August 20th is for the Monkey King, is when it happens. But I just find it funny that I was correct because I said it 100% on camera. I said it will come out August 20th this year. That was my prediction. Said that on April 1st. Okay. So there's that. And then the last question, with Halo, Gears, Forza, and Fable coming out next year. Well,
Possibly.
I don't know about Fable. Yeah,
Possibly.
possible. Do you think that's a good enough lineup, or would they need more? No, I think only 4 major ones from their first party is good. I've said this in the past, Mo, as far as like if they have 28 studios, and if 4 of them every single year put out a game, like every 4 years, right? So like a group of them release a game and the next group and so on and so forth. They always have 4 studios or 5 studios dropping games. You don't really need more because they can fill the gap with third-party games that are not exclusive, but that they can pay up front, get it on Game Pass for some extra value.
That
plus
seems
their
like
own first party.
That seems like a busy year anyway. If all 4 of those come out, you know what I mean?
Oh.
If all four of those come out next year, that's a busy year.
Yeah, well, Halo, Gears E-Day, Forza, the next Forza game, and then Fable. Is there another Forza? Are they working on a Forza and a Fable game at Playground Games? That would be surprising if they were doing that. But yeah, I think that's plenty though. I think if those 4 lineups, 1 a quarter, I think that's fine.
Yeah,
and then
a lot.
sprinkle
One
the other
sprinkle.
yeah,
A lot
sprinkle the other stuff.
That's a lot. That's a busy year. 4 games, 4 big titles in a year. That's a busy year.
Well,
We'll
that's
see.
true. Well, he says it's their 25th anniversary, so that's true. So then Halo's a big title, Fable would be a big title, Forza, right, and then Gears. You might be right. You might be onto something, but we'll see. Let's see. There's one more question. King Speak says, he says, "Do you think Starfield is dead since no mention at the Xbox showcase?" No, King Speak. I don't. I said this on my morning show. I don't think Starfield is dead because it's a single player game. Now, this is coming from me where I wanted Starfield to be a live service game. I also wanted Hogwarts Legacy to be a live service game. Or like what Grand Theft Auto did, where it's a single-player game and then they had an online aspect of it. I wanted Hogwarts Legacy and Starfield to have this because you have 1,000 planets, and you're not going to do that. 99.9% of the people are not going to go to 1,000 planets in Starfield. This is coming from a person that put in 200 hours into Starfield. Okay, I played all the side quests and the main quests, and I did all the stuff. I played the DLC. I enjoyed it, but it's a single player game. Played it, beat it, put it down. You could do other content like other playthroughs, but if they made it a multiplayer game like a No Man's Sky is today, then I would see like if they didn't support it, people be like, oh, what's happening? But it's a single player game, and Shattered Space didn't do very well. And if they are working on other content, they don't want to step on other people's toes. Someone brought this up the other day. I didn't even think about this, right? Outer Worlds 2 is coming out, okay? And that's space sci-fi, okay? So let that come out, and you don't want to promote space sci-fi with your other space sci-fi. You let Outer Worlds 2 come out, make its run, let it do its thing, and then after the fact, maybe at the Video Game Awards show, maybe after Outer Worlds comes out, then they announce something for the expansion pack for Starfield. That's what I think.
Yeah, I don't know about being dead. Dead means you can't play the game anymore. So for me, for the Starfield is I think it's out and done. Let's put it that way. I think that they cut out the Varun part in order to sell it back as a DLC to keep you interested in the game longer than it was necessary. So I think what ended up happening is they just milked it. So
Right.
now the game's out, the game's done, everyone's played it, it's cool, we're done with it, have a nice day. Like I don't think it needs to be like this thing where
Yeah, I don't think it's like
going back,
dead, like, oh, it was a failure.
like we have to
to
constantly go back and visit Starfield. Like if you want people to go back and visit Starfield, have it be where I can actually build cities that are on planets in the game, like and like construct the galaxy that we live in. Like the part that I loved about the game was the fact that Earth's gone, we barely survived, we're over here now, and we're barely hanging on. So after I have all these powers and do all this stuff, like, shouldn't I be helping humanity? Like, shouldn't I be building new cities in certain places or terraforming a planet? You know what I mean? Like some cool shit to do. But it's about this depression of I'm in this game. It's all this stuff, and that's it. We're done. Like, okay, then this is reality. We're just here at these 3 planets. That's all we're doing.
That's a shit example, and you know it. That's a shit example. One is a space RPG and the other one's a space RPG. Black Ops 7 is a first-person shooter game story. Stop it. Stop it with that shit take. What is that? That's a Travis take right there. All right. That's going to do it for Generation X Gaming weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories from the past week, and we rant along the way. Episode 444 is in the can. Make games great again. We'll be back next week for episode 445. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. You can always listen or watch us after the fact over on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Anchor.fm, and anywhere else a podcast is listened to. We appreciate you very much for coming out and hanging out with us. Again, see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.
Game on, guys.
Retro meets the now and here. Gaming tales you need to hear. Laugh and shout and sometimes sneer. Memories from all those years. Console wars and secret tips. Tips and tricks from pixel trips. News that pours from gaming sips. Critical